really a very dynamic director, dear friend. So I would like to greet him, and I would like to start discussion with sharing one of my screens. We are going to discuss few ideas about this Indian knowledge system. I guess the screen is visible to all of you. Friends, when I think of Indian knowledge system, there are many ideas which come to my mind. But before, as this is the first day, I think before I discuss more ideas about Indian knowledge system, let me have few ideas about NEP 2020 as well. So we will have few ideas, few discussion about NEP 2020, and then we will have more discussion about this national education policy. Friends, I know that NEP is not something which is very new for you. You all are aware what NEP stands for. And NEP stands for National Education Policy 2020. This 2020 word denotes that this National Education Policy is launched in the year 2020, particularly to be specific in July 2020. But there were few such policies which were floated, which were launched before this also. And that was in the year 1968 and in the year 1986. These were the 2 years when the policies were launched earlier. This education system in India is all set for a complete makeover with the introduction of National Education Policy 2020. The policy is meant to provide an overreaching vision and comprehensive framework for the education system across the country. There are 6 major changes which were initiated by Government of India. The first one is Ministry of Education is launched. That means the Ministry of Human Resource Development was renamed, MHRD was renamed as Ministry of Education. All higher education institutions except legal and medical colleges are to be governed by a single regulator. That is also something very important for all of us to understand, that this is another very big leap. That at present we know that there are many regulatory systems, like there is a different regulatory system for all general colleges like UGC, there is a different regulatory system for technical colleges, there is a different regulatory system for medical colleges, there is a different regulatory system for paramedical and medical allied courses, there are different systems for legal, architectural, homeopathic, and whatnot. So government thought that there should be one such system. Phasing out of the affiliation system in 15 years, it is thought that this current system will be phased out in 15 years. That means by 2035, this will be phased out. We will have a new system. There will not be any affiliated college after that. And all these colleges will be de-affiliated. That means the colleges will be autonomous under this NEP, that is National Education Policy. At present, we know that in India, there is a system of affiliation. All the institutions, all the colleges.
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, your screen is not visible, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. Why it is not visible? So my picture, my video is visible.
Yeah, sir. Very clear, sir. Very clear. Very clear.
I haven't shared the screen yet. So when
okay, sir. Okay. Yeah. Please continue, sir.
So I'm just talking about background. So as I told you, that at present we have affiliation system, like you, many of you may be working in different affiliated colleges, and you will have one university, you may be having one university which is working there is an university which is working as affiliating university, and this university that decides the syllabus, they takes the exam, and they decide the admissions. So all this kind of policies, everything is generally decided by the universities. But NEP suggests that this system is to be posed, and there should be a system of de-affiliation, that means autonomous colleges. This is also something which is a fruit of NEP 2020. It is also discussed that there will be holistic and multidisciplinary education in terms of flexibility of subjects. Now, this holistic and multidisciplinary and flexibility of subjects is something very useful to the students. Why? Because this will provide students a chance. It will give an opportunity to the students to study the subjects of their choice and their capacity. Sometimes they take admission in X faculty or X program, but they also would like to study Y subjects. And there were few subjects sometimes are mandatory under few programs, but they would like to study different subjects. Like the student who has taken admission into arts faculty under a program of arts can study the subjects under commerce, can study the subjects under sciences, can study the subjects under technology. So this freedom is given under NEP 2020. Similarly, a student who is admitted under any faculty like commerce, science, technology, architecture, or any different faculty, if they would like to study the subjects of other faculties, like a student of mechanical engineering would like to study academic writing, or he is interested in studying, we can say, artificial intelligence, he has a chance that he can study this and he can learn from other institutions as well. UGC made provisions that 40% of the syllabus can be transacted in online mode. Students can study in Swayam platform or similar such platforms. Common rules and regulations, that is, common norms for private and public higher education institutions, is also being discussed and implemented. Academic, administrative, and financial autonomy is given to the institution based on their accreditation status. Those institutions which have a better or higher accreditation status, they are given better autonomy. Those who doesn't have such status, they will get graded autonomy later on based on their performances. The NEP 2020 aims to transform the education system from early childhood care to higher education. It happened for the first time that this education system aimed, or this NEP included even early childhood care. Earlier, early childhood care was not much thought of by a system. They were provided by NGOs or maybe private partners. The NEP envisions a forward-looking vision for India's higher education system, emphasizing quality and excellence in universities and colleges. The policy advocates for restructuring and consolidation of institutions to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. NEP promotes a multidisciplinary approach, allowing students to explore diverse subjects and choose their paths based on interests and abilities. The policy emphasizes creating a conducive learning environments for students, including support services and facilities. NEP recognizes the critical role of faculty members and aims to empower them through training, research, and professional development. The policy focuses on ensuring equal access to higher education for all, regardless of their socio-economic backgrounds, gender, or any other factors. NEP emphasizes improving teacher training programs to enhance teaching quality. The policy also aims to integrate vocational education with mainstream education, providing practical skills and employability. The establishment of the National Research Foundation aims to promote high quality research across various fields. NEP seeks to streamline regulations and create a single regulator for higher education. The policy emphasizes strong leadership and governance in higher education institutions. Policy aims to integrate Indian knowledge system. Particularly, India is a country, is a civilization which has a legacy of thousands of years. We are one of a very few living civilizations which are such ancient and which has the legacy of thousands of years. So government thought that each Indian living in India should be aware of this legacy of India, this knowledge of India, which is translated, transmitted, and shared with thousands, millions of people in the world, or maybe trillions of people in the world. So, in short, this NEP 2020 aims to bring transformational reforms, making India a global knowledge superpower by fostering quality education and inclusivity. Friends, these are the aims, these are the goals of NEP 2020, as this is a program which is a sensitization program and orientation program on NEP 2020. Friends, it is very important that all of us should understand what this NEP stands for, what this policy stands for, and what are the objectives which are thought by the people who drafted this national Indian policy. That means NEP, National Education Policy. Friends, now, as we have discussed that one of the very prominent objectives of the policy is to integrate Indian knowledge system into the mainstream knowledge. Friends, we will discuss today. I'll try to discuss the ideas related to Indian knowledge system. Friends, let me take you to Indian knowledge system. The ideas which I would like to cover, the idea which I would like to begin with will be definition, significance, and these ideas. But before that, I would like to give you a brief about what UGC suggested and what are the areas which are to be covered when we discuss Indian knowledge system. Friends, again, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this discussion. I'm once again welcoming you here to this NEP orientation and sensitization program. Friends, Indian knowledge system is a pillar of our civilizational heritage, an enduring resource we can say enduring resource for academic and cultural inspiration. The national education policy envisions a deeper integration of, just 1 minute, I guess the screen sharing has been paused. Yeah. So friends, I tell you that national education policy envisions our just 1 minute, I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, friends, let me come back to what I was saying. The national education policy envisions a deeper integration of IKS into modern pedagogy, ensuring our scholarship reflects both global standards and indigenous wisdom. Indian knowledge system encompasses a vast array of disciplines, from philosophy, linguistics, and logic to mathematics, astronomy, medicine, agriculture, architecture, fine arts, and governance. Historically, our intellectual traditions grew from oral transmissions, codification like the Veda, and treatises of later periods. The contributions of Aryabhatta in mathematics, Charak in medicine, and Panini in linguistics illustrate the breadth of these domains, each discipline developing distinctive methods and terminologies over centuries. Indian knowledge system is preserved in primary texts, including Shruti, like the Veda, considered eternal revelations. The Smriti, like Manusmriti, Mahabharata, Purana, composed works passed in memory. The classification often extends to Shastra, Sutra, and commentaries. We find translated primary texts offering accessibility across languages and secondary resources, providing critical interpretations. Central to curriculum are the 14 Vidvastha, that means Chaturveda. We can say there are 14 Vidyasthana. Uh, let us count them. Chaturveda, that means four Veda. Vedanga, Mimamsa, and Nyaya. In some traditions, 18 incorporating Dhanurveda, that is archery, and Gandharva Veda, that is music, and more methods like and many more such we can say texts. Methods like Tantra Yukti, logical devices used to compose and understand complex arguments, invite us. The logical devices used to compose, understand complex arguments, invite us to read with precision. Mastery of Indian knowledge system demands familiarity with specific conceptual clusters, like Anubandha, Anubandha Chatusthaya. Anubandha Chatusthaya talks about four things: purpose, scope, audience, and relation to a text. Pancha Mahabhuta. This Pancha Mahabhuta include earth, water, fire, air, and ether as fundamental elements. Panchakosha, layers of human existence, from the physical body to bliss. Panchaprana, and we can say Ananta Karana Chatushtaya. This Ananta Karana Chatushtaya is a vital life forces and fourfold inner faculties. IKS also contains non-translatable words like dharma, karma, moksha, whose meaning is embedded in the cultural and philosophical context. Using correct terminology, persevere the contextual and conceptual integrity. Even governance comes like praja, swatantra, rashtra, swarajya. They carry historical meanings beyond their modern equivalents. Indian knowledge system values systematic inquiry. Tantra Yukti offers a framework for building and testing hypotheses, ensuring logical rigor. Pramanas, means of knowledge such as perception, that is pratyaksha, interference, that is anuman, inference, that is anuman, and testimony, that is shabda, are discussed for their validity. Debate formats like Purva Paksha, uh, debate like 1 minute. Debate formats like Purva Paksha and Uttar Paksha, that is initial view and counter view, cultivate intellectual balance with nigraha, that is nigraha sthana, identifies points of argument where they fail. This method encourages open-minded inquiry grounded in evidence and reasoning. Consider Ayurveda's formulation of a medical recipe. The Tantra Yukti method guides its composition. Pramad validates it via observation and patient outcome. And Purva and Uttar Paksha structure scholarly discussions, sound and around it effectively as we integrate Indian knowledge system into our disciplines. Latest approach, it has both a repository of timeless wisdom and a living tradition open to critical engagement. Our role as educators is not merely to preserve this knowledge, but to contextualize and apply it for contemporary challenges. So, this is the background which I wanted to give you. With this background, I would like to discuss Indian knowledge system. And friends, we will discuss various ideas of Indian knowledge system. Like friends, just 1 minute, I would like to share the screen again. Hmm. Yes, I guess this is visible. Now we will discuss about the, yes, we'll discuss definition and significance of Indian knowledge system. That is what now I would like to focus on. Friends, I guess it is visible. Is the screen visible to you, all of you? Okay. So we will talk about definition and significance. That is importance of Indian knowledge system in understanding Indian, in understanding heritage. We can say in understanding culture and heritage, both the things. This is what we'll try to uh, do this today. And I would like to discuss few ideas about it. Now, let me get content only here. Yes. Going to take it visible. Friends, the Indian knowledge system encompasses the vast body of knowledge that has evolved over millennia in Bharatvarsha. The system integrates diverse fields such as philosophy, science, art, medicine, and spirituality, reflecting the holistic and multidisciplinary nature of ancient Indian thought. The term Sanatan denotes that the eternal and timeless essence of this knowledge, which has been passed down through generations, continually enriching Indian culture and intellectual traditions. The significance of Indian knowledge system lies in its comprehensive approach to understanding life and the universe. Unlike many contemporary systems that compartmentalize knowledge into distinct disciplines, Indian knowledge system interviews various domains presenting a unified vision of reality. This integrative, or we can say this integrative perspective, is evident in texts such as Veda and Upanishad, where philosophical inquiries, scientific observations, and spiritual insights, they coexist seamlessly. So that means they are existing together. Understanding Indian knowledge system is crucial for comprehending the depth and richness of Indian culture and heritage. The Indian knowledge system is not just an academic construct, but we can say it is a living tradition. Friends, I guess I should share this with you so that
कोर्स एक्झिट सगळं भरलं दोघांनी यश फीजची रिसिप्ट मॅडमने टाकला
I
मेसेज
guess-
फीज रिसिप्ट पाहिजे म्हणून.
I guess there is somebody whose
कॉलेज
mic
फीज आहे
is
ना
on. Please
त्याची
mute your mic,
75% अमाऊंट पे करायची.
Your mic is on. Will you please mute it, ma'am? Minal RDG. Yeah. So, friends, what I was telling you is that understanding this Indian knowledge system is very important. Understanding Indian knowledge system is crucial for comprehending the depth and richness of Indian culture and heritage. The Indian knowledge system is not just an academic construct, as I said, it is a living tradition that has profoundly shaped social, cultural, and spiritual fabric of Indian society. The Veda. Let us talk about Vedic literature. The Veda comprising of Rig Veda, Sham Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda are among the oldest sacred texts in the world. These texts provide insight into the early Indian worldview, encompassing cosmology, rituals, ethics, and social organization. The Rig Veda, for instance, contains ruchas that address various deities and natural forces, reflecting a profound reverence for the natural world. This reverence is not just religious sentiment, but a cultural ethos that has influenced environmental conservation practices in India. The Upanishad, a collection of philosophical texts, dwell into profound metaphysical questions about the nature of reality, the self, and the universe. Concepts such as Brahma, the ultimate reality, Atma, the individual soul, are central to Indian philosophical thought and have influenced various aspects of Indian culture, including art, literature, and spirituality. For example, the principles of unity and diversity, derived from the idea of openness and oneness of all existence, is a central aspect of Indian cultural identity. Vasudhaiva Kutumbaka, it talks about ancient Indian sciences, particularly in the fields of astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, have made significant contributions to global knowledge. Aryabhata's Aryabhatiya introduced the concept of zero and discussed the Earth's rotation, while Sushrut Samhita laid the foundation of surgery. These scientific advancements are not isolated achievements, but are embedded in the broader cultural context, reflecting the Indian tradition of holistic inquiry and innovations. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian system of medicine, emphasizes the balance between the body, mind, and spirit. The holistic approach to health and well-being is not only a medical practice, but also a cultural heritage that informs daily life, dietary habits, and wellness practices in India. For instance, the use of natural herbs and dietary regulations in Ayurveda is mirrored in Indian culinary traditions, highlighting the integration of health and lifestyle. The practices of yoga and meditation, rooted in ancient Indian spirituality, have gained global recognition for their benefits to physical, mental, and spiritual health. The Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, a key text on yoga, outlines the Eightfold Path that includes Ashtanga Yoga, that includes ethical precepts, physical postures, breath control, and meditation. These practices are integral to Indian culture and are celebrated in various forms, from daily routines to international yoga festivals. The Indian knowledge system is a testament to the profound intellectual and cultural achievements of ancient India. By integrating diverse fields of knowledge, Indian knowledge system offers a holistic perspective that is essential for understanding the rich embroidery of Indian culture and heritage. Appreciating the system not only honors India's past, but also provides valuable insights for addressing contemporary challenges in a holistic and integrated manner. Friends, now I would like to take you again to this slide where I would like to, where I'd like to show you a very interesting video which is prepared by Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education has started one branch that is known as Indian Knowledge System. And under this branch of Indian Knowledge System of Ministry of Education, Government of India, they have prepared a very good video to understand and to show us exactly what Indian knowledge system is, how diverse it is, how can we discover it. It's in very good multimedia format. I want all of you to have a look at it, and we'll try to understand from this video, which is especially made for all to understand what Indian knowledge system is, what are the traditions of Indian knowledge system is. Look at the picture.
Most
How
stories
beautifully
are about
pictures
lost
are presented.
civilizations.
The picture is presented in a so
This
beautiful manner.
is about a living one. For millions of years, mankind took birth and life for granted, going through the motions of survival. But somewhere, profound insights regarding the nature of our existence dawned upon an ancient people, the people of India. As civilizational wisdom expanded, learning itself became a sophisticated tradition for the Hindus. Continuous knowledge transmissions meant that the most sublime heights of civilizational development were achieved and refined by successive generations. But slowly, the times changed. Not just for India, but for the world. Today we find ourselves tangled in the web of environmental disasters, pandemics, and rapidly changing technology. If we do not intervene, perhaps future generations will inherit a different earth. I embark on a mission to search for the answers to these questions. This journey takes me to the heartland of the world's oldest living civilization. The rolling hills and lush green fields of southern India that hold countless civilizational secrets. A meeting of great significance is about to take place in Thanjavur, the cultural seat of the great Chola Empire. In the giant shadow of Brihadeshwar, I am joined by Professor Mahadevan from IIM Bangalore. Professor Mahadevan has devoted his life to exploring the vast canvas of Indian knowledge systems.
As you see, Indian knowledge system has three words there: Indian, knowledge, and system. So each one of them has some meaning. Therefore, Indian essentially means the Akhanda Bharat, which means somewhere from Afghanistan up to, I would say, Burma and even beyond that. So that's the Indian part of it. Knowledge is both formal and informal, or literary and non-literary, if you want it that way. So we are sitting in a very beautiful temple complex here. Yes, so this temple is about 1,000 years old. There's a whole gamut of know-how or knowledge which is required to putting up this structure, which should remain also intact for 1,000 years. You know, you need to know how to put the structure, layout and planning, what kind of logistics. There's so much of granite being used. There isn't granite around. So we don't know how they brought so much of volumes of granite here. So in modern terms, logistics and supply chain management, if I have to call it, applied things like mathematics, astronomy, town planning and architecture, metalworking, we have been wonderful. There is a culmination of a number of ideas that the know-how which went behind all these, we can call it a system. So that way we can call it as Indian knowledge system, which is in practice, which is in use.
சிற்ப சாஸ்திரத்துல தசதாள பிரமாணம்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. உத்தம தசதாளம், மத்தியம தசதாளம், அதம தசதாளம். அந்த தாள பிரமாணங்கள்ல தான் நான் அளவுகளை நியமிச்சு முகம் இவ்வளவு, கழுத்து இவ்வளவு, மார்பு இவ்வளவு, நெஞ்சு இவ்வளவுங்கிறத ஒரு பிரதானமா சிற்பக்கலையில அதை சொல்லி தான் நாங்கள் அமைக்கிறோம். அந்த பிரதான மூல ஆதாரமான அந்த தசதாள பிரமாணத்துல முழுமையா அளவு பிரமாணத்தோட அமைஞ்ச ஒரு சிற்பம் தான் சோழர்கால சிற்பக்கலை. அதனால தான் மற்ற சிற்பத்தை விட சோழர்கால சிற்பம் அளவுலையும் அழகுலையும் மிக நேர்த்தியா இருக்கிறதால தான் இந்த உலக அளவுல சோழர்கால சிற்பக்கலை இந்த அளவுக்கு உலக புகழ் பெற்றது.
banks of river Neela, nestled within nature's bosom, is Kerala Ayurveda Samajam. Established in 1902 by the Zamorian of Calicut, the Samajam continues to preserve the ancient Indian knowledge system of Ayurveda in its pristine form.
What a beautiful campus you have. It's in the middle of the nature. So how many types of, herbs you must be having here?
It may be 1,000, more than 1,000.
Tell us about, the great tradition of Natya Shastra.
Natya Shastra is not only a text for dance or music, it is a text for Shilpa, Kavya, Chitra, and many other kind of art forms. Without the element of dance, the knowledge of sculptor is incomplete. Without the element of the music, the knowledge of dance is incomplete. So all the art forms is closely attached to each other. In the Agama Vidhis, the Nritya Gita is also a part. So our ancestors, our rulers, kings gave importance to dance and music in the temple.
So there was a beautiful, you can say, combination of, art, literature, divinity, spirituality, dharma.
Art is a form of worship, and also worshipping through the art is itself offering to the God.
Oh, that's beautiful. Very well said, The art is worship, and worship is art. Oh, wow.
Samananam kaja kutila sundar tilaka brura kamayanka samananam apaharana tulasi dasa trasa vihara vrinda kananam gopala Priya Gopa Gosuda Vallavam Charanaravinda Aha Bhajaniya Sura Muni Durlabam Gopal 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 Gopal
The more I become aware of the knowledge systems of India, I get convinced that all these paramparas are unified by a common thread. The entire culture is drenched in reverence for the sacred. But this uniqueness is most vivid in India's scientific traditions. To get a taste of it, I had to Nalakuda, the seat of Kerala School of Mathematics, to the home of Madhav, its founder.
When you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus etc. up to infinity, then it's some Greek mathematicians say it is infinite. But it was Madhava who said it is not infinite, it is a finite n into n plus 1 by 2. We attribute this to Gauss theorem, 200 years after Madhava's time. So he discovered trigonometric series, inverse trigonometric series. Now Britannica has renamed it Madhava Grigori series, Madhava Newton-Raphson series, like that.
This is the ancestral
temple of Madhava's family. This you see the two granites. These are the two granites where one granite stone was used by Madhava to meditate, and the other stone for lying down and see the planets in the sky, full night. Then they constructed the whole orbit of the planets. 2 centuries before Copernicus, 3 centuries before Newton.
Why the discussion of Indian knowledge system cannot be complete without referring to Indian astronomy?
Indian knowledge system has a very deep antiquity, which means it is accumulative in nature. It also has many layers. And if you want to understand the layers, then you must have a timestamp. Astronomy is time. India was the prosperous place in the world. Why? Because of a sophisticated astronomy, because of sophisticated understanding of the monsoon, sophisticated development of agriculture. So all the basic ingredients that you need for civilizational were here for thousands of years. In Surya Siddhanta, the latitude measurements of all our current nakshatra system goes back to 8000 BC. That is a great work of Dr. Anil Narayanan of ISRO. But why 8000 BC? Because that is when the inclination obliquity was the highest. And that time, Kashi, Varanasi acted exactly like what Ujjain did. And Thailand, there is actually evidence. European team found a panchang that is about 1600 years old. That is first created based on the Kashi as a starting point. And then within India, in Tamil Nadu, it is adjusted by 3 degrees because that place is 3-degree longitude difference from Kashi. Now that panchang is used in Thailand by the king of Thailand and whatnot by making appropriate correction. What do you call that?
Conversion of longitude into time.
Correct.
As we travel.
Correct.
In the eastern or western direction.
Right.
A recurring theme is clearly evident. In Indian astronomy, stars are named after seers. Madhav's mathematics flourished in a temple. Ramanujan's equations came from his Devi. It seems, for Indians, science was not contradictory to religion. For us, science was just a defined form of religion, and religion was nothing but refined science. How did India's knowledge survive while other ancient civilizations disappeared? This unique longevity baffles me. Understanding it holds the key to ensuring that today's civilizational knowledge survives too. My curiosity takes me to Chinmaya Foundation in Kerala, where I meet Gauri Mahulikar, a Vedanta researcher and former head of the Department of Sanskrit at Mumbai University.
विद्या रक्षिता संस्कृति सर्वदा. विद्या जो है फॉर एवर इट प्रोटेक्ट्स द कल्चर. प्रकृति से संस्कृति बनाना, दिस इज द टास्क फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग. एंड हाउ ही कैन अचीव इट? फ्रॉम विद्या. और ये जो विद्याएं हैं, अष्टादश विद्या स्थानानि कहते हैं, दे आर ऑल इन संस्कृत लैंग्वेज. सो 4 वेदास, 6 वेदांगस, 4 Upangas and 4 Upavedas, it becomes 18. Ashtadasha Vidyaha Etaha. And therefore I say, Vina Sanskritam Naiva Sanskritihi. India को जानना है, Indian culture जानना है, तो संस्कृत जाननी होगी.
Inspired by Gauri's profound insights, I proceed to catch a glimpse of ancient India. The place is Mattur, a village in Karnataka which continues to speak and practice Sanskrit as its official language even today. Protected from globalization, Mattur is a pristine agrahar, a scholarly village which was established 600 years ago by the great king Krishna Dev Rai.
आचार्य जी, यहाँ की क्या विशेषता है इस ग्राम की?
यहाँ वेद और शास्त्र पढ़ने के लिए बहुत अवकाश मिलता है. ये तो परंपरा से ही हमारे गांव में है. संस्कृत का अध्ययन और अध्यापन, वेद का अध्ययन और अध्यापन यहाँ गांव में 6 आहिताग्नि अग्निहोत्री हैं और 40 यजुर्वेद का पंडित हैं। और तुंगा जी ही हमारा गांव का विशेष है, क्योंकि ये तो जीव नदी है।
Just a few hours from Attu is the unmissable Sringeri, an ancient seat of learning founded by Adi Guru Shankaracharya more than a millennia ago. Sringeri continues to preserve and protect India's Sanskrit traditions.
Script development took a long time in our civilization because we are primarily an oral tradition. So when scribes came along, so people who are knowledgeable, they usually dictate and scribes take it down.
So this is
a palm leaf.
Palm leaf, and it's written with some kind of ink here.
Usually a brass tool. It's inscribed.
How wonderful!
You can see the inscription, but you can't read it. We apply a kind of a powdered soot on it so that it starts appearing. The average age of a palm leaf manuscript is about 500 years. Once the manuscript becomes old, when it becomes fragile, so another copy is made.
To ensure perfect transmission of knowledge across millennia seems like an impossible task. For perspective, today's advanced digital technology can become extinct if a solar flare hits Earth today. Papers and manuscripts are not safe from calamities. The only thing which would survive the last mile would be a living knowledge retained in the hearts and minds, a rigorous oral method to preserve knowledge without errors. The idea is profound, but then why only Sanskrit? What's so special about it that Sanskrit succeeded in protecting the Indian knowledge system for such a long time?
When nobody even thought of, the words could have a science, we have an entire system of Vyakarana, Panini's grammar, where he, very distinctly states which varana, which consonant emerges from which part of the mouth cavity. It is the only language in the world which is like, as you write, so you spell, and as you spell, so do you write. The phoneme and the morpheme hardly differ. Okay? But in English, PUT put and BUT but. Why it is not but? I mean, there are hundreds of such examples. So Sanskrit is the only language, perhaps, which is very, very pure in that manner.
If I recite a Vedic mantra today, for all this is how it was recited 5,000 years back. So why I'm saying this is the uniqueness of transmission.
And this transmission has happened by and large, through the Guru Shishya Parampara.
So basically the whole idea, as you rightly said, is moment you say oral, then obviously the medium of transmission is human beings. Therefore, there is this Guru who is mastered, and then there was a mechanism of creating a large number of, Sishyas. If you talk of this Stapatya, the architect who designs this temple, he will be a Guru, he will have a Sishya. A metalsmith who does some complex metal working will have a Guru, he will have a Sishya. So this is how we orchestrated the whole thing. It was not just about the Vedas. Every science, every engineering, every technology that we practiced, it was all through a system of Gurukula. A Guru could transmit it to 100 odd people. So the 100 odd people, out of that maybe some 20, 30 odd will actually become a Guru. So now one can imagine how this knowledge is going to go. It will be a divergent cone. That was how we were actually propagating it and passing it from generation to generation without any loss.
This ecosystem of value-based transmission of knowledge is perhaps the most unique jewel of Indian knowledge systems. The Guru Shishya Parampara. For millennia, people from all over the world stormed to India to be a part of this parampara. Right from homely Gurukulas to mighty international universities, I sense the presence of an extremely nuanced system that focused on practical learning.
What is our ancient Indian education system as such? Acharyat padamadatte. पादं शिष्यः स्वमेधया पादं सब्रह्मचारिभ्यः पादं कालक्रमेण च. When the acharya, that is the teacher, comes to the class and teaches, he teaches you only 1/4 of the whole of knowledge. 1/4 shishyaha swamedhaya, his own self-study. The third pada is sabrahmacharibhyaha, from the fellow students. We call it peer learning nowadays. And the fourth is what we call today experiential learning. That is kalakramena cha. Time has to pass by. You have to ripen with the time.
When you walk with the Guru, you talk with the Guru, you eat with the Guru, and play with the Guru. You learn without the Guru teaching you explicitly. That was a profound concept of Gurukul, the home of the Guru. No need for value education classes yesterday, when the entire system is value-oriented. This genius interweaving of Sanskrit and Guru Shishya Parampara is the reason behind India being the only continuous living civilization. I am beyond words. While I feel a serene sense of contentment, I am also concerned if the world is ready for such profound restructuring. I cannot help but wonder how India's knowledge systems are relevant to solving today's global challenges.
Why do you think, the exploration, of the Indian knowledge system is very necessary in the modern context?
See, the next 100 years is going to be a knowledge society. It's not about military power. It's all about who has the knowledge. And one of the important principles in strategy is what is called path dependence. The path that you walk is a function of the path that you have already walked. So for a society, for a culture, you need to know the path. The whole world is talking about sustainability. Now, if you look at the Sanskrit word dharma, the very meaning of dharma is that which can behold or sustain. But scriptures have lots of ideas on sustainable living, sustainable ways of maintaining large-scale systems, sustainability as an important concept, and so on.
हमारा चश्मा बदलना पड़ेगा. Our perspective, we are very biased. We take pride in learning foreign languages. All European languages also are derived from Sanskrit. Why can't we learn that? And another thing which is very, very special about our ancient Indian education system is they address the entire humanity as the children of immortality. Shrunuvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world as one family. That is the lesson of ancient education system.
With time, instead of just consumption, we have to learn to give back, to return to the simplicity of life. That's what Indian knowledge systems have to offer us. The rapture of being human, the joy of constant learning, the pleasure of sharing. Coming times will test us, yet the ancients continue to watch quietly from the shadows, holding solutions to our problems. If only we are humble enough to look back with an open mind.
So this is very interesting presentation of Government of India, Ministry of Education on Indian knowledge system. I am sure that all of you must have enjoyed this, and all of you must have learned a lot out of this meticulously prepared video on Indian knowledge system. It reveals a lot of things. It takes us to different avenues of India. It takes us to different avenues of understanding of Bharatiya Gnana Parampara. Friends, now we will go to the second phase. I'll talk about the Vedic literature and its cultural impact. The Vedas are the most ancient and revered texts in Indian literature, forming the cornerstone of Hindu spiritual and philosophical thought. Friends, I guess I should repeat few of the things. And I guess in Hindi also. Let me try to वेद भारतीय साहित्य में सबसे प्राचीन और पूजनीय ग्रंथ है, जो हिंदू आध्यात्मिक और दार्शनिक विचार की आधारशिला है. There are 4 Veds, each serving a unique purpose and offering insights into various aspects of life and the universe. 4 वेद हैं, जिनमें से प्रत्येक एक अद्वितीय उद्देश्य को परिपूर्ण करता है, उसकी पूर्ति करता है और जीवन और ब्रह्मांड के विविध पहलुओं में अंतर्दृष्टि प्रदान करता है. पहला जो है वो है ऋग्वेद. द फर्स्ट वन इज द ऋग्वेद, द ओल्डेस्ट ऑफ द वेद. The Rig Veda is a collection of 1028 ruchas dedicated to various deities such as Agni, Indra, Soma. Friends, वेदों में सबसे पुराना जो है वो ऋग्वेद है. उसमें रुचाओं का संग्रह है जो विभिन्न देवता जैसे कि अग्नि, इंद्र और सोम को समर्पित है. ये मुख्य रूप से ब्रह्मांड विज्ञान, दर्शन और रुचा से संबंधित है, जो ब्रह्मांड और परमात्मा की प्रकृति को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. ये रुचा प्रारंभिक वैदिक संस्कृत में लिखे गए हैं और प्रकृति और तत्वों के प्रति गहरी श्रद्धा दिखाते हैं. As I told you, friends, the hymns are composed in early Vedic Sanskrit and reflect a deep reverence for nature and the elements. It is primarily concerned with cosmology, philosophy, and ruchas that seek to understand the nature of the cosmos and the divine. Then comes Samveda. It is known as the Veda of melodies. The Samveda consists primarily of ruchas derived from Rig Veda, but set to musical notations. Samveda उसको म्यूजिक यानी संगीत का वेद कहा जाता है. सामवेद में मुख्य रूप से ऋग्वेद से प्राप्त रुचाएं जो है वही है, लेकिन संगीत संकेतन के लिए उसको उसकी रचना की गई है और उसको संजोगा गया है. The ruchas were intended to be sung during rituals and sacrifices. ये जो रुचाएं हैं वो अनुष्ठानों और बलिदान यानी यज्ञ वगैरह प्रक्रिया जो होती है उसके दौरान इसको गाया जाता है. The musical aspects of the Samveda highlights the importance of sound and melody in spiritual practices, which is foundation of the rich tradition of Indian classical music. संगीत सामवेद का एक पहलू है. सामवेद का जो संगीत पहलू है वो आध्यात्मिक प्रथाओं में ध्वनि और माधुर्य के महत्व पर प्रकाश डालता है. जो शास्त्रीय संगीत है भारत का, यानी भारत की जो समृद्ध परंपरा रही है भारतीय शास्त्रीय संगीत की, उसकी नींव अगर किसी को बोला जाए तो वो सामवेद है. Yajurveda is divided into 2 main sections, the white Yajurveda and black Yajurveda. It consists of prose mantra used in ritualistic sacrifices. अगर हम यजुर्वेद की बात करें तो यजुर्वेद को 2 मुख्य खंडों में विभाजित किया जा रहा है, एक श्वेत यजुर्वेद और दूसरा काला यजुर्वेद। इसमें अनुष्ठानिक यज्ञ में उपयोग किए जाने वाले गद्य मंत्र भी शामिल है। It consists of the prose mantras used in ritualistic sacrifices, that means yagna. Unlike the Rig Veda and Samveda, Yajurveda provides detailed instructions on how to perform these rituals, making it a practical guide for priests, that is Purohit, conducting yagna. जैसे मैंने बताया कि अनुष्ठानिक यज्ञों में जो उपयोग में आने वाले मंत्र हैं वो इसमें ऋग्वेद में शामिल है। ऋग्वेद और सामवेद से विपरीत यजुर्वेद इन अनुष्ठानों को करने के तरीके और उनके बारे में विस्तृत दर्शन प्रदान करता है। इससे यज्ञ करने वाले पुजारियों यानी पुरोहितों के लिए एक व्यावहारिक मार्गदर्शन यजुर्वेद प्रोवाइड करता है। अथर्ववेद is the collection of spells and charms and incantations addressing everyday concerns such as health, protection and prosperity. अथर्ववेद जो है वो मंत्र और मंत्रों का एक संग्रह है जो स्वास्थ्य, सुरक्षा और समृद्धि जैसी रोजमर्रा की चिंताओं को संबोधित करता है। यह अन्य वेदों की तुलना की सामग्री में अधिक विविध है, यानी इसमें विविधताएं बहुत हैं, जिसमें मेडिसिन यानी दवाओं की बातें हैं, जिसमें इनकांटेशन यानी जादू टोने की बातें हैं, दैनिक अनुष्ठानों की बातें हैं और इससे संबंधित सामग्रियां शामिल हैं। The Atharvaveda reflects a more practical and accessible aspect of Vedic literature, focusing on the immediate needs and concerns of the people. अथर्ववेद वैदिक साहित्य के एक अधिक व्यवहारिक और सुलभ पहलू को दर्शाता, जो लोगों की तत्काल जरूरतें और चिंताओं पर अपना ध्यान केंद्रित करता है। The Vedas have profoundly influenced Indian culture, shaping rituals, traditions, and societal norms that continue to this day. वेदों ने भारतीय संस्कृति को गहराई से प्रभावित किया है, अनुष्ठानों, परंपराओं और सामाजिक मानदंडों को आकार दिया, जो आज भी जारी है, यानी आज भी वो हो रहा है। Vedic rituals, especially those described in the Yajurveda, have laid the foundation for Hindu rituals, even performed today. वैदिक अनुष्ठानों, यज्ञ, विशेष रूप से यजुर्वेद में वर्णित अनुष्ठानों ने आज किए जाने वाले हिंदू अनुष्ठानों की नींव रखी है। This include the performances of yagna, that is sacrificial rituals, which are conducted to please the deities, seek blessings, and maintain cosmic order. Friends, ये जो यज्ञ है, अनुष्ठान है, उनका प्रदर्शन भी इसमें शामिल है, जो देवताओं को प्रसन्न करने, आशीर्वाद लेने और ब्रह्मांडीय व्यवस्था को बनाए रखने के लिए आयोजित किए जाते हैं। The intricate details provided in Yajurveda have ensured continuity and consistency of these rituals over millennia. यजुर्वेद में दिए गए जटिल विवरणों ने सहस्त्राब्दियों से इन अनुष्ठानों की निरंतरता और स्थिरता सुनिश्चित की है। The Vedas have also given rise to various cultural traditions and festivals. वेदों ने विभिन्न सांस्कृतिक परंपराओं और त्योहारों को भी जन्म दिया है। For instance, the Rig Veda rituals celebrating the victory of Indra over Vritra are reflected in annual festival of Diwali, which symbolizes the triumph of light over the enduring influence of Vedic traditions. वेदों ने इस प्रकार से अगर हम देखें तो विभिन्न सांस्कृतिक परंपराओं और त्योहारों को जन्म दिया है। उदाहरण के तौर पर वृत्त पर इंद्र की जीत का जश्न मनाने वाले ऋग्वेदिक ऋचाएं दिवाली के त्योहार में परिलक्षित होती हैं, जो अंधेरे पर प्रकाश की विजय का प्रतीक है। इसी तरह शादियों में, नामकरण समारोहों में और अन्य जीवन चक्र के कार्यक्रमों के दौरान वैदिक ऋचाओं का जाप जो होता है, वो वैदिक परंपरा के स्थान को और उनके स्थायी प्रभाव को, जो हमारे भारतीय जीवन प्रणाली के ऊपर है, उसको प्रदर्शित करता है। The Veda, particularly Rig Veda, outline a vision of society based on the principles of dharma, that is duty, and rata, that is cosmic audit. वेद विशेष रूप से ऋग्वेद धर्म यानी कर्तव्य और रत यानी ब्रह्मांडीय व्यवस्था जो है, उसके सिद्धांतों पर आधारित समाज के दृष्टिकोण को रेखांकित करता है। This text emphasizes the importance of maintaining social harmony and fulfilling one's duties towards family, community, and the divine. The concept of varna, that is social class, which is first mentioned in the Rig Veda, has played a significant role in structuring Indian society, although its interpretations and implementations have evolved over time. ये जो सामाजिक मानदंड की बात है, उसमें ये ग्रंथ सामाजिक सद्भाव बनाए रखने और परिवार, समुदाय और ईश्वर के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों को पूरा करने के महत्व पर जोर देते हैं। यहाँ पर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा, इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, फोकसेस मोर ऑन नॉट जस्ट सेल्फ बट ऑन द फैमिली, कम्युनिटी एंड गॉड। ये सिर्फ अपने आप पर नहीं, लेकिन परिवार, समुदाय और ईश्वर के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों की बात करता है। वर्ण जो कि सामाजिक वर्ग है, उसकी अवधारणा जिसका उल्लेख पहली बार ऋग्वेद में किया गया है, उसने भारतीय समाज की संरचना में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है। हालांकि इसकी व्याख्याएं और कार्यान्वयन समय के साथ विकसित हुए हैं और बदलते भी रहे हैं। If we look at the philosophical thoughts, that means darshanik vichar, the philosophical inquiries in the Veda have laid the groundwork for various schools of Indian philosophy. Concepts such as ultimate reality, that is Brahma, and individual soul, that is Atma, which are further elaborated in Upanishad, have their roots in Vedic ruchas. Friends, दोनों अगर वेदों की बात करें तो वेदों में जो दार्शनिक जिज्ञासाओं की बात है, उन्होंने भारतीय दर्शन की विभिन्न स्कूलों के लिए एक आधार तैयार किया है। परम सत्य यानी ब्रह्म और व्यक्तिगत आत्मा यानी आत्मा जैसी अवधारणाएं, जिन्हें उपनिषदों में और अधिक विस्तृत किया गया है, उसकी जड़ें वैदिक ऋचाओं में है। इन विचारों ने न केवल धार्मिक विश्वासों को आकार दिया है, बल्कि भारतीय संस्कृति के भीतर नैतिक और ये जो फिलोसॉफिकल एक ढांचा है, उसको आकार भी दिया है। दिस आइडियाज हैव शेप्ड नॉट ओनली रिलीजियस बिलीफ्स but also ethical and moral framework within Indian culture. The Vedas are not merely ancient texts, but living documents that continue to shape the spiritual, cultural, and social fabric of India. The ruchas, rituals, and philosophies have influenced every aspect of Indian life, making them integral to understand Indian heritage and cultural identity. वेद केवल प्राचीन ग्रंथ नहीं है, बल्कि जीवित दस्तावेज है, जो भारत के आध्यात्मिक, सांस्कृतिक और सामाजिक ताने बाने को आकार दे रहे हैं और देते रहे हैं। उनकी रुचाएं, अनुष्ठान और दर्शन ने जीवन के हर पहलू को प्रभावित किया है, जिससे वे भारतीय विरासत और सांस्कृतिक पहचान को समझने का अभिन्न अंग बन गए हैं। Friends, now we'll try to have a look at another video. I'll try to show you a few videos like this, which will give you some understanding about various aspects of Veda. I'll try to do it in multimedia using few videos, which will really make it more interesting for you to understand. Let me have a look at the chat. I guess I got few. Yes, thank you, Thierry. Thank you very much, participants, for your very motivating responses and in the chat box. Thank you for I'm writing it. I try to mix up a few videos and I try to mix up my text also. So that will really help you to understand it in a better way. So let me take you again to another very beautiful video, which talks about Veda. So it talks about everything about Veda. Let us try to listen to it.
Veda Bhumi, the land of knowledge, that is one of the names of India, and for a very good reason. If we turn the hidden pages of the history, long before the Islamic invasions and the European colonization, India has been one of the very few civilizations which has a very advanced education system of that times. I'm not saying this. If we turn back the pages of the history before 1000 AD, that's before Mughal invasions and the European colonization began, travelers from Europe, Persia to China used to travel to India to obtain the knowledge as part of this Vedic culture. If you read the books written by Megasthenes, Al-Biruni, or Hyun-Sang, you'll get to know how advanced Indian education system at that times was. The knowledge of ancient India. It is one of the most comprehensive and complex education systems in the world. In this short video, we try to compile how the ancient Indian education system looked like. The heritage of the ancient Indian education and value system as we know today has been largely preserved by the inscriptions on the temples, manuscripts, and verbally transmitted from a teacher to a student. These are the three main sources from which we have been preserving the Vedic education system till today. Now let's see what they are. For ease of understanding, we have put it this way. There are 6 broad categories of Indian scriptures which hold the entire knowledge system. They are Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasam, Agamam, Siddhantam. And they cover a diverse set of fields of education like mathematics, physics, biology, philosophy, astronomy, health sciences, linguistics, and many other branches of science and technology besides the theological concepts. Starting with the first one, Shruti. Shruti is well known as the Vedas, and there are 4 of them. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda. Rig means praise, a form of expressing the gratitude. It explains about the various hymns praising the elements of nature and cosmos. And the second one is Yajurveda. Yajur means worship. It explains about different procedures of worship of the nature and cosmos. And the third one is Samaveda. Sama means song. It gives a music-driven canonical format to the other Vedas for ease of recitation. The fourth one is Atharvana Veda. Atharva means stable mind. It sets the rules for a steady state daily life activities that needs to be observed in a Vedic culture. All these 4 Vedas are not just like any other 4 ordinary books. You will not understand a word of it unless you are blessed with a guru who can explain to you what each of these mean. And they are highly interconnected with each other. Further down, if we look into any of these 4 Vedas, it has 4 fundamental blocks. Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, Upanishad, supported by 6 external blocks. Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. We'll keep it very simple, not going into further details. The 4 internal blocks of Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, and Upanishads, they describe the theosophical, philosophical, and physiological anatomy of the cosmos and the nature and the fundamentals of human existence. In simple words, it describes Brahman, which means the ultimate and the supreme power of the existence. The 6 external blocks, Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa, these are called as Vedangas. They complement the knowledge framework of Vedas with different and intricate specializations each. As you see here, Siksha is study of phonetics, Vyakarana is study of grammar, Chandas is study of linguistic rhythm and prosody, Nirukta is study of etymology, Jyotisha is study of astronomy, and Kalpa is study of rituals. All these 6 are called as Vedangas. And that's how the 4 Vedas are supported by the 6 Vedangas. And that is not all. Each of the 4 Vedas have 4 Upavedas as an offspring. Ayurveda, the study of life sciences, ascribing to Rig Veda; Gandharva Veda, study of music, art and dance, ascribing to Sama Veda; Dhanur Veda, study of archery and warfare, ascribing to Yajur Veda; and Ardhashastra, study of business administration and political sciences, ascribing to Atharvana Veda. Now this is the complete picture of what we call today in simple words as Vedas. And one of our prime objectives of this channel, Project Shivoham, is to bring forward this entire knowledge system in a simple format that everybody can understand. We already did a couple of documentaries on Dhanurvedam, Ayurvedam, Sanskrit and a lot more. And you can find them on our channel. And the next one is Smriti. Smriti is authored by the sages and saints who mastered Shruti, which is the Vedas, and brought in their experiences and revelations. It is much like a thesis that the sages on different branches of studies like theology, philosophy, science, etc. It completely subserves or ascribes to Shruti, which is the final authority. And there are 18 such Smritis written by different rishis. And they are Atri, Vishnu, Harita, Aushanasi, Angirasa, Yama, Apastambha, Samavarta, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Parashara, Vyasa, Shankha, Likita, Daksha, Gautama, Shatatapa, and Vasistha Smriti. And the next one is Puranam. In very simple words, Puranam is nothing but a historical document. Often Puranam is mistaken as a mythology, but the fact of the matter is it's a historical document that has a 10-dimensional feature. And the 10 are, the first one is Sarga, history of creation of cosmos. Second one is Visarga, history of creation of the worlds. Third, Vrupti, history of evolution of the life. Fourth, Raksha, history of sustenance of life. Fifth, Amtarani, history of the time scale and how the time used to be measured in the past. Sixth, Vamsa. Seventh, Vamsanucharita. Both explain about the history of the lineage and the history of the dynasties that ruled Bharat since times immemorial. Eighth, Samstha, history of the catastrophes, all the natural calamities that have occurred in the past. Ninth, Hetu, history of the prime causes of those catastrophes. And the last one is Apasarayaha, history of the Supreme Being or the different incarnations of God. And there are 18 such Puranas, all written by just one Rishi, Sri Vedavyasa. And the 18 are Markandeya Purana, Matsya Purana, Bhagavata, Bhavishya, Brahmanda, Brahma, Brahmavaivarta, Vishnu, Varaha, Vamana, Vayu, Agni, Narada, Padma, Linga, Garuda, Kurma, and Skanda Puranas. The amount of knowledge in these Puranas is just incredible. For instance, Agni Puranam explains about different varieties of martial arts. We did a short documentary on Dhanurvedam, extracting details from Agni Puranam and Dhanurveda Samhita. You can check out on our channel. The next one in line is Itihasa. Itihasa, the word spells as Itihasa, which means this is how it happened. Of all the scriptures, Itihasas are the one which shaped up the ethos of India as we know today. And there are only two Itihasas, Sri Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. These two scriptures are of the highest order which defined, directed and drove the human values in India since thousands of years. And Bhagavad Gita, which is the epitome of all the sacred scriptures, is an integral part of the grand epic of Mahabharatam. And the next one is Agamas. Agamas are treatises on theology, epistemology, and also describes the architectural principles of temple construction. Basically, they are the rule books of how a temple needs to be constructed and the rituals in the temple needs to be organized. All the magnificent grandeur of the Indian temples and the exquisite carvings that we have on the Indian temples. The source code of all that beauty is from Agamas. For instance, Shilpa Shastra, the branch of knowledge which deals with sculpting, is from Agamas. And there are 77 Shakti Agamas, 28 Shiva Agamas, and 108 Vishnu Agamas. So wide and so deep. And the last one we have Siddhantam. Siddhantam means principles, a set of principles in different fields of science and technology. These are the most interesting part of the scriptures. For instance, in astronomy itself, we have 18 Siddhantas, which talks about different details about planetary motions, geometrical principles, trigonometry, calculus, a lot more. In this category, we have a huge set of scriptures that are in the fields of science and technology. To name a few, Sushruta Samhita by Rishi Sushruta on surgery and medicine, Aryabhattiyam by Aryabhatta on astrophysics and astronomy, Ardhashastra by Chanakya on commerce and business administration, Panchasiddhanta by Varahamihira on treatise of astronomy, Rasendra Mangalam by Nagarjuna on the science of alchemy, and the list goes on and on. And that is a very brief history about the Vedas and the other scriptures of ancient Indian education system. For ease of understanding, we tried to condense a lot, but it is so wide, deep, and complex all at the same time. And the backbone for this entire education system is Sanskritam. And if we don't have the competence of Sanskritam, all this knowledge system is good for nothing. Let me give you one example and you will understand it. Here is a slokam from Aryabhatiya, written by Aryabhatta. Yes, the same man whom we celebrate that he invented zero. In this slokam, he gave two scenarios. The first scenario is two bodies moving in opposite directions, and the second scenario is two bodies moving in same direction. He says that time elapsed for R and B to pass through or otherwise is equal to the distance by sum of their speeds. And in the other scenario, it is distance by difference of the speeds. In simple words, he gave the equation of speed is equal to distance by time. This equation of speed is equal to distance by time is the foundation for kinematics, a branch of physics, which is the heart and soul of everything that moves in this world. This equation is the foundation in the engineering of be it a car or a space shuttle. This equation is a revolutionary discovery. But if we don't know how to read Sanskritam, all this is good for nothing. According to the documented history, Galileo Galilei in the year 1638, he published a book called Two New Sciences. In this book, he first gave the formula of speed is equal to distance by time. Now don't start judging Galileo. All his work is original, and if you read this book, you'll get to know. He did not get inspired from Aryabhatta. But the fact of the matter is, something that was discovered by Aryabhatta in 510 CE had to be rediscovered by Galileo in the year 1638. In these 1,000 years, the speed is equal to distance by time equation, which is written in Sanskritam, is locked up in Aryabhatiya. 1,000 years. Imagine what could have been the impact if this was known earlier to the whole world. All we know about Aryabhatta is he invented zero, but he has left us a wealth of information. Well, how many such equations and other scientific concepts are hidden in the Indian scriptures, which are written in Sanskritam, waiting to be decoded? Well, I'm not saying that all the great things in this world were invented or discovered by Indians, but all the great things that were done by Indians are not known to the world. And that's why we started Project Shivoham, to bring forward all these kinds of stories. And as always, thanks for watching.
So friends, this was another interesting video which I've shown you to explain the concept which I've discussed with you, and the concept on Veda. Now, after Veda, the most important thing to understand about Indian knowledge system is Upanishad. The Upanishads, also known as Vedanta, they are a collection of philosophical texts that explore the fundamental questions of existence, reality, and the nature of the self. They are composed between 800 BCE and 500 BCE. The Upanishads are considered the culmination of Vedic thought, offering profound insights that have shaped Indian philosophy. Friends, उपनिषद जिन्हें वेदांत के नाम से भी जाना जाता है, दार्शनिक ग्रंथों का ये एक संग्रह है जो अस्तित्व, वास्तविकता और स्वयं की प्रकृति के मूलभूत प्रश्नों का पता लगाता है। 800 ईसा पूर्व और 500 ईसा पूर्व के बीच में रचित उपनिषदों को वैदिक विचार की परिणति माना जाता है, जो गहन अंतर्दृष्टि प्रदान करता है, जिससे भारतीय दर्शन को आकार दिया जाता है, और भारतीय दर्शन जो है उसको आकार दिया गया है। One minute. अब after in Upanishad, we have to look at various ideas. कुछ विचार जो हैं उनको समझना चाहिए। ब्रह्म, the concept of Brahma is central to Upanishad. Brahma is described as the ultimate, unchanging reality the source of all that exists. It is infinite, eternal, and beyond human comprehension. The Chandogya Upanishad states, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmam, all that is indeed Brahma, emphasizing the unity of all existence. ब्रह्म की अवधारणा उपनिषदों के लिए केंद्रीय है। ब्रह्म को परम, अपरिवर्तनीय, वास्तविक और वास्तविकता के रूप में वर्णित किया गया है, जो सभी में मौजूद है, मुझ में, आप में, सब में। यह अनंत, शाश्वत और मानवीय समझ से परे है। छंदोग्य उपनिषद में कहा गया है, सर्वम खलिदम ब्रह्मम, तो यह सब वास्तव में ब्रह्म है, जो सभी अस्तित्व की एकता के ऊपर जोर देता है। सेकेंड थॉट इज आत्मा. Atma refers to the individual soul or self. The Upanishads teach that Atma is identical to Brahma, a realization encapsulated in Mahakavya, that is great saying, Tatattvamasi, that thou art, from the Chandogya Upanishad. This identification of the self with the universal consciousness forms the basis of Advaita, that is non-dual philosophy. आत्मा का तात्पर्य व्यक्तिगत आत्मा या स्वयं से है। उपनिषद सिखाते हैं आत्मा ब्रह्म के समान है, एक एहसास जो महाकाव्य में निहित है, तत्वमसि, हम तुम हो, यानी वी आर द सेम। छंदोग्य उपनिषद में यह लिया गया है। वो सार्वभौमिक चेतना के साथ स्वयं की यह पहचान अद्वैत दर्शन के आधार के लिए इसको उसका उपयोग किया जाता है और उसका ये आधार बना हुआ है। थर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट इज माया. Maya is an illusion or ignorance that veils the true nature of reality, leading individuals to perceive the world as separate and distinct. The concept of Maya explains the apparent multiplicity in the world and the challenges in realizing the unity of Atma and Brahma. माया वह भ्रम या अज्ञान है जो वास्तविकता की वास्तविक प्रकृति को छिपाती है, जिससे व्यक्ति दुनिया को अलग और अलग मानते हैं। माया की अवधारणा दुनिया में स्पष्ट बहुलता और आत्मा और ब्रह्म की एकता को साकार करने में एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती है, इस तरीके से व्याख्यायित की जाती है। माया के बाद आता है कर्म, द लॉ ऑफ कर्म, which states that every action has consequences, is another key concept. The Upanishads teach that one's action, that is karma, determine their future and determine their future experiences, including rebirths. This principle underscores the moral and ethical dimensions of human life. कर्म का नियम जिसको कहा जाता है, जो कहता है कि प्रत्येक कार्य के परिणाम होते हैं, एक और महत्वपूर्ण अवधारणा है। उपनिषद सिखाता है कि किसी के कार्य उसके भविष्य के अनुभवों को निर्धारित करते हैं, जिसमें पुनर्जन्म भी शामिल है। यह सिद्धांत मानव जीवन के नैतिक और नैतिक आयामों को रेखांकित करता है। उसके बाद आता है मोक्ष। मोक्ष की बात करते हैं। मोक्ष इज द लिबरेशन फ्रॉम द साइकिल ऑफ बर्थ एंड rebirth. It is achieved through self-realization and the recognition of the unity of Atma and Brahma. The Upanishads describe moksha as a state of eternal bliss and freedom from suffering. मोक्ष जन्म और पुनर्जन्म के चक्र से मुक्ति है। यह आत्म साक्षात्कार और आत्मा और ब्रह्म की एकता की मान्यता के माध्यम से प्राप्त किया जाता है। उपनिषद में मोक्ष को शाश्वत आनंद और दुख से मुक्ति की स्थिति के स्वरूप में वर्णित किया जाता है। The philosophical concepts articulated in Upanishad have had profound impact on Indian thought and have influenced the various aspects of culture, religion, and spirituality. उपनिषदों में व्यक्त दार्शनिक अवधारणाओं को भारतीय विचार पर गहरा प्रभाव पड़ता है और इसने संस्कृति, धर्म और आध्यात्मिकता के विभिन्न पहलुओं को प्रभावित किया। Philosophical schools, if we'll try to look at, the Upanishads have given rise to several schools of Indian philosophy, collectively known as darshans. The Advaita Vedanta school, founded by Sri Adi Shankaracharya, is directly based on Upanishadic teachings, advocating non-dualism and the identity of Atma and Brahma. Other schools such as Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita also draw heavily from Upanishadic ideas while offering different interpretations of the relationship between the self and the divine. उपनिषदों ने भारतीय दर्शन के कई स्कूलों को जन्म दिया है, जिन्हें सामूहिक रूप से दर्शन के रूप में माना जाता है। श्री आदि शंकराचार्य द्वारा स्थापित अद्वैत वेदांत स्कूल सीधे तौर पर उपनिषदिक शिक्षाओं पर आधारित है, जो अद्वैतवाद और आत्मा और ब्रह्म की पहचान की वकालत करता है। अन्य स्कूल जैसे कि विशिष्ट द्वैत और द्वैत भी स्वयं और परमात्मा के बीच संबंधों की अलग अलग व्याख्याओं की पेशकश करते हुए उपनिषदिक विचारों से बहुत अधिक आकर्षित होते हैं। अगर हम रिलीजियन प्रैक्टिसेस और रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिसेस को देखें, द एम्फेसिस ऑन मेडिटेशन, सेल्फ इंक्वायरी एंड द परस्यूट ऑफ नॉलेज, दैट इज ज्ञान योग, इन द उपनिषद्स had shaped various spiritual practices. The practice of yoga, particularly Raj Yoga and Jnana Yoga, finds its philosophical foundation in Upanishadic teachings. This practice aimed to quiet the mind, transcend the ego, and realize the true nature of the self. उपनिषद में ध्यान, आत्मा की पहचान, जांच और ज्ञान की खोज यानी ज्ञान योग पर जोर देने से विभिन्न आध्यात्मिक प्रथाओं को आकार मिला है। योग का अभ्यास, विशेष रूप से राजयोग और ज्ञान योग, उपनिषद शिक्षाओं में अपना दार्शनिक आधार पाता है। इन अभ्यासों का उद्देश्य मन को शांत करना, अहंकार को पार करना और स्वयं की वास्तविक प्रकृति का एहसास करना। The concepts of karma, that is action, and dharma, that is duty, they are articulated in Upanishads. They have profoundly influenced Indian ethical and moral thought. The Bhagavad Gita, which synthesizes Upanishadic philosophy, emphasizes the importance of performing one's duties without attachment to the results, a principle that guides ethical conduct. उपनिषदों में व्यक्त कर्म और धर्म, क्रिया और कर्तव्य की जो अवधारणाएं हैं, उन्होंने भारतीय नैतिक और नैतिक विचारों की गहराइयों में उसको बहुत ही गहराई तक प्रभावित किया है। भगवत गीता जो उपनिषद दर्शन को संश्लेषित करती है, वो कहता है कि परिणामों से आसक्ति के बिना अपने कार्यों को निभाने के महत्व पर इंसान को जोर देना चाहिए। कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन, एक सिद्धांत जो नैतिक आचरण का मार्गदर्शन करता है। उपनिषदों के दार्शनिक विचारों ने भारतीय संस्कृति में प्रवेश किया है, जो साहित्य, कला और संगीत को प्रभावित करते हैं। रामायण और महाभारत जैसी रचनाएं, महाकाव्य की कथाएं उपनिषदिक विषयों को भी शामिल करती हैं, जैसे कि आत्मज्ञान की खोज और धार्मिक कार्य का महत्व, राष्ट्रीय भारतीय शास्त्रीय संगीत और नृत्य, उनके जो विविध रूप हैं वो अक्सर उपनिषदिक विषयों पर आधारित होते हैं। उनका उपयोग आध्यात्मिक सत्य का पता लगाना और व्यक्त करने के लिए वो लोग इन विभिन्न शैलियों का उपयोग करते हैं। द फिलोसॉफिकल आइडिया ऑफ उपनिषद हैव पेनिट्रेटेड एंड परमिटिएटेड that means entered Indian culture. Just one minute. Entered Indian culture, philosophy, influencing literature, art, and music. Works like Ramayana and Mahabharata. Epic narratives also incorporate Upanishadic themes such as quest for self-knowledge and importance of righteous action. Classical Indian music and dance often draws heavily from Upanishadic themes, using them to explore and express spiritual truths. The Upanishads have also had a significant impact beyond India. Western philosophers and writers such as Arthur Sofner, Aldous Huxley, Ralph Waldo Emerson have drawn inspirations from Upanishadic thought. Sofner referred to the Upanishads as the most profitable and elevating reading which is possible in the world. What a quote! How he admired Upanishad. It highlights Upanishadic appeal, its universal appeal, and profound philosophical insights. उपनिषदों के ये उपनिषदों का भारत से परे यानी विदेशों में भी महत्वपूर्ण प्रभाव पड़ा है। आर्थर शोपेनहावर, एल्डस हक्सली, राल्फ वाल्डो एमर्सन जैसे पश्चिमी दार्शनिक और लेखकों ने उपनिषदिक विचार से प्रेरणा ली है। शोपेनहावर ने उपनिषदों को दुनिया में संभव सबसे लाभदायक और उन्नत पठन के स्वरूप में संवर्धित किया है, जो उनकी सार्वभौमिक अपील और गहन दार्शनिक अंतर्दृष्टि पर प्रकाश डालता है। उपनिषद के वैदिक विचारों के चरम का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, यानी उपनिषद वैदिक विचार की जो चरम सीमा है उसका प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, जो गहन दार्शनिक अंतर्दृष्टि प्रदान करते हैं, जिसने भारतीय दर्शन, धर्म और संस्कृति को आकार दिया। वास्तविकता, स्वयं और अंतिम सत्य की प्रकृति पर उनकी शिक्षाएं व्यक्ति को उनकी आध्यात्मिक और दार्शनिक गतिविधियों में प्रेरित और मार्गदर्शित करती रहती हैं। The Upanishads represent the zenith of Vedic thought, offering profound philosophical insights that have shaped the Indian philosophy, religion, and culture. The teachings on the nature of reality, the self, and the ultimate truth continue to inspire and guide individuals in their spiritual and philosophical pursuits. This is what Upanishad is. Friends, as I'm doing, let me take you to another very beautiful video again on Upanishad. Will not take much time. I'll try to show this video, which is very beautiful. Here, as I have shown you, this is about Upanishads and philosophical foundations. We have talked about the key concepts from the Upanishads. We have talked about the contribution of philosophy and the worldview. Now, friends, we'll try to have a look at a brief history of 108 Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads in India. Let us try to have a look at the brief of these Upanishads. It's a very big video, but we'll have a look at a few very important ideas.
From one kind of deadly cold during the Ice Age to another kind of deadly cold during the COVID-19. If we consider our civilization collectively on the face of Earth over the last thousands of years, The most important instrument of survival for humans has always been buddhi, the human intelligence. And to set things in right perspective, even a plant has intelligence, or a monkey, or a dog, or a cat, or you name it. Every living thing has a certain degree of intelligence. It is just that we have a better degree of intelligence compared to any other species. And the human intelligence, or the buddhi, stands on the pedestal of tarka, which is logic and reason. Now the question for all of us is, do we have any other capabilities as humans which is more powerful than the human intelligence? I am not at all interested in any kind of fluffy jargon or beat around the bush with nonsensical English. Again, repeating the question, for us as humans, what is the most powerful capability? Is it just the human intelligence, or do we have something above and beyond human intelligence? The answer is a resounding yes, and allow me to give you certain very interesting examples. Here are a handful of scientific discoveries that went beyond human intelligence. Srinivasa Ramanujan, to calculate the most accurate value of pi in the shortest time possible, he formulated this equation, and that's quite popular in the mathematical fraternities. And the important part is, there is no logical explanation from Ramanujan himself as to how he arrived at this equation. And that absolutely doesn't mean that he just came out of the blue or it's a matter of luck. He was so much devoted into mathematics that a higher sense of intuition got developed in him, which went beyond comprehensible human intelligence. And that level of brain functioning yielded in this equation that led to the fastest way to calculate the value of pi, as well as the most accurate of its ways. Same is the case with Dmitry Mendeleev. He was so devoted into the field of chemistry and studying the properties of the elements that while he was studying aluminium, even though he could not really find the isotope of aluminium, he predicted that there will definitely be an element called Eka aluminium, or an isotope of aluminium. And not just aluminium, he did for boron and a couple of other chemical substances as well. Of course, his predictions about the isotopes later were found to be true. Again, it's the same pattern. It is not a free will or a fluke that he just predicted or postulated it. With a deep foundation of his devotion into the field of chemistry, there is a sense of informed intuition in Dmitry Mendeleev that resulted in the prediction of the isotopes of aluminium, boron, so on and so forth. And again, same is the case with the structural representation of the benzene. If you have more interest in this subject, read about the history of these scientific discoveries, and there are many other like these, where clearly things went beyond comprehensible human intelligence. You know what? You also have these capabilities hidden in you. Let us do a small thought experiment and get ready to discover your hidden capabilities in the next couple of minutes. Listen carefully and think about it. For a moment, assume that you have no technical knowledge about music. You just listen and enjoy, but you don't know exactly how to play a music, or you have no knowledge about music. But still, when you listen to a piece of rhythm or a melody and suddenly there comes an out-of-tune chord or an out-of-tune note, you will be able to spot it. How are you able to do that even though you don't have any knowledge about music? I repeat the question. How are you able to sense an out-of-tune in a music even though you never heard that musical record before and have no knowledge of music? You will be able to spot a misplaced chord or a misplaced note in the music even though you have no knowledge about music. Pause the video here and think about it for yourself for a couple of minutes and then resume.
चाचू अब चार्ट्स देख रहे हो कि टेनिस?
पहले
Okay, let me reveal the answer now. Our human brain have certain inbuilt capabilities that we mostly don't recognize. And the first one is pattern recognition. Our brains are excellent at recognizing patterns, including those in music. When you hear a melody, your brain starts to form expectations about what notes should come next based on the pattern it detects. When a note doesn't fit in the expected pattern, such as being out of tune, it stands out as incorrect. Second one, relative pitch. Even without formal music training, many people have this natural ability called relative pitch. This means you can perceive the relationships between different pitches, high, low, and the intervals between them. Even if you can't necessarily identify specific notes or name them, you will be able to spot the inconsistencies. When a note is out of tune in music, it disrupts the perceived relationships and the sounds discordant. Third and most important, emotional response. Some songs make you feel sad and some songs make you feel happy. You know why is that? Music often evokes emotional response, and a wrong note can disrupt the emotional flow when you listen to a piece of music. Your brain might pick up on this emotional disturbance when you hear an out of tune and then prompting you to recognize the note as incorrect. Now, why I'm saying all this is, all these capabilities about human brain, we all have them, just that we don't know them. Everything and anything in this nature cosmos, including inside the human body, is a complex web of cause and effect. And human intelligence is a great instrument to trace the effect back to its cause. But it is not just the human intelligence alone would be sufficient to always trace the effect back to its cause. It is deep introspection, observation, critical thinking, negative thinking, highest levels of concentration through meditation. Like this, there are lots of functions that go beyond normal human intelligence to explore the cause-effect relationship in this nature and cosmos. Now, why I gave such a lengthy introduction before talking about Upanishads is, a right frame of mind is highly essential to understand the Upanishads. And what are Upanishads? They are the chronicles of the experiences of ancient rishis from their deepest observations about nature and cosmos. And from now, let us start understanding the brief history of Upanishads. Throughout this documentary, remember one single statement. Upanishads is all about understanding the cause and effect relationship in this nature and cosmos. It is as simple as that. Couple of points before I go full throttle into Upanishads is, number one, I don't subscribe to any spiritual organization or a so-called spiritual guru, nothing. I completely work independently and I'm not endorsing any spiritual organization whatsoever. Point number two, we have enormous amounts of knowledge sources and knowledge systems like Upanishads, Vedas, Puranas, Agamas, Itihasas, Siddhantas, a lot more. And all these knowledge systems are meant for everybody. I challenge anyone to contradict on what I'm saying. Beyond caste, creed, religion, it doesn't matter who you are. As long as you have right intentions to learn and obtain knowledge, these are meant for everyone. Third and last point is, there is a misconception that Vedas were never written. It is existing since the beginning of time and all that. Well, that is a misunderstood notion. I'll explain that in a different video. But for the moment, as far as Upanishads are considered, they are handwritten over a period of time. They are as old as Sri Ramayanam, because Janaka Maharaja is the father of Masita. He himself authored parts of the Upanishads. Such is the antiquity of Upanishads. So number one, I don't go with the dates that are currently dated for Upanishads. Number two, they never fell from the sky. They were handwritten by the ancient rishis about their experiences and observations. And with all that said, now let's get started about the brief history of 108 Upanishads. 108. That is the count of Upanishads that are generally considered both as major and minor. And broadly and in a non-binding way, the classification of these Upanishads are as follows into 5 categories, broadly depending on the area of their focus. Type 1 is yoga. This type of Upanishads emphasize mostly on the concepts of yoga. Type 2 Vedanta, which is philosophy. Type 3 mantra. Type 4 sannyasa, the ascetic life. Type 5 Sharira, which is the physiological aspects like Garbha Upanishad, so on and so forth. So these are the 5 broad classifications of the Upanishads. 108. Of course, it's quite impractical to cover all of them in one video. So now what I'm going to do is handpick 10 most widely accepted as the authoritative Upanishads of all, and also considered as the oldest Upanishads of all. Starting with the first one, Isha Upanishad. The name Isha means Lord or ruler. And the supreme reality or the primordial cause, which is quite literally the reason for existence of everything in this world, is referred as Isha. Hence the name Isha Upanishad. And the contents goes like, it discusses the omnipresence of Brahman, emphasizes living a balanced life, advocates renunciation of both pleasure and pain, explains the nature of the soul, talks about the unity of the self with the nature, concept of karma, so on and so forth. The Isa or Isana Upanishad fires up your soul, reminding you that you and the universe are one with the supreme reality Brahman. It pushes you to see beyond the fleeting material world and recognize your true infinite self. Live with purpose and selflessness, balancing wisdom and action. Embrace the divine within, lead a life of ethical integrity, and you'll strive towards ultimate liberation. Ishana Upanishad says that you are not part of the universe, but you are the universe itself. How to live boldly, live wisely, and realize your boundless potential. That is what Ishana Upanishad demonstrates. The second Upanishad is Kena Upanishad. Kena means by whom. This Upanishad emphasizes completely on questioning by whom is this nature and cosmos shaped up the way it is today. What is the cause behind that? Questions the source of existence, nature of self, questions the nature of Brahman. The Kena Upanishad urges you to find the source of all your thoughts and actions. It asks, who powers your mind and senses? The answer is Brahman, the ultimate reality. By exploring this, you realize your true wisdom isn't just learning but experiencing this divine force. Seek the source, understand the power within, and discover your connection to the infinite nature and cosmos around us. Number 3. Katha Upanishad. The name derived from the name of the sage Katha. And this Upanishad discusses about the concept of death in the most beautiful of its ways. The Katha Upanishad centered on a dialogue between a young boy called Nachiketa and Yamadharmaraja, the god of death, delves into the life's ultimate questions. It explores what happens after death and the nature of the soul. Through their conversation, it reveals the path to self-realization and immortality. The Upanishad teaches that by understanding the eternal soul or the Atman and its unity with the supreme reality, that is the Brahman, one can conquer death. I repeat the word, conquer the death, or rather the fear of death, and achieve true enlightenment. Seek the inner truth, transcend fears, and discover the eternal essence within you. The speciality of Katha Upanishad is it takes the most horrendous fears of human existence, which is the death, head on. That's what Katha Upanishad teaches, and of course a lot more than that. But the best part is it is Yamadharmaraja who narrates how you need to deal with death. It's quite an interesting one. Anyways, let's move on. Number 4, Prashna Upanishad. As the name itself says, it's all about 6 profound and specific questions. The Prashna Upanishad revolves around 6 profound questions posed by 6 seers to the sage Pippalada. It explores the nature of the universe, the source of life, and the paths to spiritual enlightenment. And the 6 questions are: number 1, the origins of the universe; number 2, the elements that sustain the life; number 3, the nature and functions of the vital forces, which is the prana shakti; number 4, the relationship between mind and the senses; number 5, the nature of meditation and its benefits; number 6, the essence of the supreme reality, Brahman. Through these deep inquiries, it reveals the insights into the connection between the microcosm and the macrocosm, between you and the entire universe, guiding you towards the ultimate knowledge and self-realization. That's what Prashna Upanishad is all about. Up next is the 5th one, the Mundaka Upanishad. The name Mundaka is derived from Munda, which means shaved head, implying renunciation. Mundaka Upanishad talks about 2 different kinds of knowledge, the higher knowledge and the lower knowledge. The Mundaka Upanishad guides you on the path to enlightenment by distinguishing between higher knowledge, which is called as Para, and lower knowledge, which is called as Apara. It uses the metaphor of 2 birds sitting on a tree. One bird enjoying the fruits, symbolizing the individual soul engrossed in the worldly pleasures, while other bird...
भाई index is moving. सोचा हूँ एक लॉट ले लूँ. It's a feeling.
representing the Supreme Soul, watches and serene the detachment. The Upanishad teaches that true wisdom comes from understanding the Supreme Reality, which is the Brahman. And especially when we are talking about Mundaka Upanishad, important to understand, no Upanishad emphasizes you to give up all your material world aspects and become like ascetics. No, that is never the message of any of these Upanishads. It is about continuing our daily lives and our daily responsibilities and routines, but at the same time, give it a deep thought about this complex web of cause and effect, understanding both pain and pleasure the way it needs to be understood. And it never says that give up your responsibilities. Most important of all to understand, the ascetic life is not meant for everyone. Especially the youngsters, we have to be ambitious. We have to go after our goals and objectives. Just that we also need to question the purpose of life with a broad mind. And that's what Upanishads unequivocally vouch. And a quick side note, Satyameva Jayate is taken from this Upanishad, the Mundaka Upanishad. Up next is the sixth one, the Mandukya Upanishad, named after the sage Manduka Maharshi. Manduka Upanishad is the shortest Upanishad of all, with just 12 verses. The Manduka Upanishad powerfully encapsulates the essence of ultimate reality through the syllable Om. It explores 4 states of consciousness: the awake state, the dream state, the deep sleep state. Until here, we scientifically understand the typical states of our sleep. And then comes a 4th state of sleep, which is called as Turiya. Scientifically, this state is not well understood yet, but according to Mandukya Upanishad, this state of our brain is when we completely integrate into the deepest corners of this nature and cosmos. Strictly speaking, this state of human brain, the Turiya, or the 4th and final stage, is quite difficult to articulate verbally. For those of you who are interested, I would recommend to go through Mandukya Upanishad, where it explains different states of human brain functioning. It's quite interesting. Let's move on. Up next is the 7th Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, derived from the Taitri, referring to a school of Yajurveda, hence the name Taittiriya Upanishad. This Upanishad consists of 3 sections or vallis: Siksha, Brahmananda and Bhrigu. The Siksha Valli emphasizes knowledge, ethics, interconnectedness, etc. The Ananda Valli, it discusses about the 5 sheaths of the human body: Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya Koshas. The food that we eat is called as Annam. And the moment you hear this word Annam, it sounds like some sort of South Indian word, which is fundamentally incorrect. According to Taittiriya Upanishad, the human body is divided into 5 layers, and the physical layer is called as Annamaya Kosha. And whatever that we drink and eat keeps up the physical structure of our body the way it should be, and it helps it grow. Since it supports the physical kosha or the Annamaya Kosha, whatever that we eat is called as Annam. So the word Annam is not a Telugu word. It essentially comes from the Taittiriya Upanishad, and it is a proper Sanskritam word. And that is the reason we revere Ma Parvati as Annapurna, means the one who gives us all the necessary food which helps us protect our Annamaya Kosha, which is the physical build of our body. Like this, there are lots of other interesting aspects about Taittiriya Upanishad, but for now, let's keep it short and move on. Up next is Aitreya Upanishad, named after the Maharshi Atri. The Aitreya Upanishad is again another fantastic source of knowledge on the source of creation, both spiritually as well as scientifically. The Aitreya Upanishad explores the creation of the universe, paralleling to the Nasadaya Suktam from Rig Vedam. It describes the emergence of existence from a singular source, akin to modern scientific theories about the Big Bang and the unification of matter and energy. The Upanishad emphasizes on the eternal nature of the individual soul or the Atman, suggesting a profound connection to the cosmos, similar to the concepts in quantum physics that highlight interconnectedness. By understanding this relationship, one can achieve self-realization and liberation, uncovering their divine essence and recognizing their unity with the universe. Resonating with the more ancient wisdom as well as contemporary science, Aitreya Upanishad is a gem of knowledge. Up next is Chandogya Upanishad, derived from Chandoga, which is Samaveda. The Chandogya Upanishad delves into the nature of reality and the essence of self. It presents the concept of Tattvamasi, highlighting the unity between the individual soul and the ultimate reality. This Upanishad explores creation, describing how the universe emerged from the formless absolute, similar to scientific notions of the cosmic evolution. It also emphasizes meditation and the significance of the Pranavam, which is called as Om, in realizing this connection. By understanding these teachings, one can achieve self-realization, uncovering their divine essence and recognizing their oneness with the entire universe. Like I said, this Upanishad pushes you to question and realize that relationship that you share with the nature around you. 10th and the last Upanishad in our list is the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The term Brihadaranyaka can be broken down into two parts. Brihad, the Sanskritam word which means great, indicating the extensive and profound nature of the teachings contained within this text. And Aranyaka, this derives from Aranya, which means forest. In Vedic literature, Aranyaka texts are often associated with hermitages or forest-dwelling sages, reflecting a contemplative lifestyle focused on spiritual practice. Brihadaranyaka translates to the great forest treatise, symbolizing a vast exploration of the philosophical ideas and spiritual knowledge, often sought in secluded and meditative settings in the deep forests. Hence the name Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is one of the longest Upanishads with extensive philosophical discussions. Janaka Maharaja, who is the father of Masita, has extensive representation in this Upanishad. It is more or less like a contemporary to the times of Ramayana. And the geographical location of the happenings of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is from Bihar to Nepal, that region. That's where much of the happenings of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad can be located. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad explores the nature of the self and the universe, discusses the concept of Brahman, uses the dialogues and stories to illustrate its teachings, emphasizes the importance of knowledge and self-realization, so on and so forth. This Upanishad alone is an ocean in itself. Such wide, complex, and deep are the teachings of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So that's in brief about 10 most important and oldest of all the Upanishads that we have. But like I said, it's quite impractical to cover 108 Upanishads. So let's take a very high level view about all these 108 Upanishads as to...
So the very important view about it is like there is Brahma, ultimate reality, Maya, there is illusion, Avidya, that is ignorance, Dhyana, that is meditation, Karma, and Prajna Shakti, and Atma, Moksha, Jnana, Bhakti, Dharma. These are
what they teach as a bottom line. So if we cut across horizontally into all these 108 Upanishads, broadly, these are the topics that all the Upanishads in one way or another emphasize on. Let's briefly see all these macro areas quickly. Most important and most common of all the Upanishads is the Brahman, the ultimate reality or the primordial cause behind the nature, cosmos, you, me, and everything in it. So they talk about Brahman, they talk about Atma Paramatma, which is the self or the soul. They talk about Maya, which is illusion or hallucination, things which are of our own mental creation, which doesn't exist in reality. That is Maya. And then Moksham, which is liberation. Avidya is ignorance. Jnanam is knowledge. Dhyana is meditation. Bhakti, devotion. Karma and Punarjanma, which is rebirth. Om. Upanishads extensively talk about Om as to why this sound has such a deep significance in the history of Bharat. And then Upanishads also talk extensively about Prana Shakti, the biological life force that's present in you, me, and every living thing around us. And of course, the Upanishads talk about Dharma, which is righteousness. So broadly, these are the macro areas or the big blocks of all the 108 Upanishads, to put it simply. Honestly, if we look at all these Upanishads, more or less they sound similar. There are lots of overlaps in terms of what...
So friends, now after Upanishad, we'll go to the next idea, and that is, I'll discuss
they teach, right? And sometimes it sounds quite...
Yes. Now we will discuss about, after Upanishads, about ancient Indian sciences and their cultural relevance, achievements in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, influences on cultural practices and daily life. This is what we'll discuss now. So, as I told you, friends, ancient India made significant contribution to various scientific fields, including astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. These achievements not only advanced scientific knowledge, but also had a profound impact on cultural practices of daily life. Friends, प्राचीन भारत में खगोल विज्ञान, गणित और चिकित्सा सहित विभिन्न वैज्ञानिक क्षेत्रों में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। इन उपलब्धियों ने न केवल वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान को उन्नत किया, बल्कि सांस्कृतिक प्रथाओं को दैनिक जीवन पर भी गहरा प्रभाव डाला है। एस्ट्रोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, ancient Indian astronomers made remarkable strides in understanding celestial phenomena. Aryabhatta, one of the most renowned astronomers, wrote the Aryabhatiya in 499 CE. This work introduced the concept of the Earth's rotation on its axis, the calculation of solar year's length, and the heliocentric model of the solar system. Aryabhatta's precise calculations of the positions and motions of celestial bodies had a profound influence on both Indian and Islamic astronomy. भारतीय खगोल विज्ञान की जब बात करते हैं तो खगोलविद ने खगोल घटनाओं को समझने में उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की है। सबसे प्रसिद्ध खगोलविद की अगर बात करें तो वो है आर्यभट्ट, जिसने 499 में आर्यभट्टिया लिखा। इस कार्य ने अपनी धुरी पर पृथ्वी के घूर्णन की अवधारणा, सौर वर्ष की लंबाई की गणना और सौर मंडल के सूर्य केंद्रित मॉडल को पेश किया है। आकाशीय पिंडों की स्थिति और गति की आर्यभट्ट की सटीक गणना ने भारतीय और इस्लामी खगोलीय विज्ञान दोनों को प्रभावित किया है। मैथमेटिक्स की बात करते हैं। Ancient Indian mathematicians developed fundamental concepts that have had a lasting impact on the field. The concept of zero, the decimal system, and the significant advancement in algebra and trigonometry originated in India. For instance, the mathematician Brahmagupta wrote Brahmagupta Siddhanta, in which he introduced rules of arithmetic operations involving zero and negative numbers. The work of Bhaskara II, particularly his treatise Siddhartha Shiromani, made significant contribution to calculus, number theory, and algebra. गणित की अगर बात करें तो प्राचीन गणितज्ञों ने मौलिक अवधारणाओं को विकसित किया, जिनका क्षेत्र पर स्थायी प्रभाव पड़ा है। शून्य की अवधारणा, दशमलव प्रणाली और बीजगणित और त्रिकोणमिति में महत्वपूर्ण प्रगति की उत्पत्ति भारत में हुई। उदाहरण के लिए गणितज्ञ ब्रह्मगुप्त ने ब्रह्मस्फोट सिद्धांत लिखा, जिसमें शून्य और ऋणात्मक संख्याओं से जुड़े अंकगणितीय कर्मों के लिए और कार्यों के लिए विविध प्रकार के नियम और सिद्धांतों को पेश किया गया। भास्कर द्वितीय के काम विशेष रूप से उसके ग्रंथ सिद्धांत शिरोमणि ने कैलकुलस, संख्या और सिद्धांत और बीजगणित में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया। Medicine, if we talk about ancient Indian medicine known as Ayurveda, is one of the oldest medical systems in the world. The foundational texts of Ayurveda include Charak Samhita and Sushrut Samhita. Charak Samhita, attributed to the Rishi Charaka, focuses on internal medicine that provides detailed descriptions of various diseases, treatments, and the principles of Ayurveda. The Sushrut Samhita, attributed to Rishi Sushruta, is renowned for its extensive coverage of surgical techniques, including cataract surgery, plastic surgery, and the use of medicinal plants. चिकित्सा में भारतीय प्राचीन चिकित्सा पद्धतियां जो थी, जिसमें आयुर्वेद महत्वपूर्ण है और उनको आयुर्वेद के नाम से जाना जाता है। दुनिया की सबसे पुरानी चिकित्सा प्रणालियों में से एक ये आयुर्वेद है। आयुर्वेद के मूलभूत ग्रंथों में चरक संहिता और सुश्रुत संहिता शामिल है। चरक संहिता, जिसका श्रेय ऋषि चरक को दिया जाता है, आंतरिक चिकित्सा पर केंद्रित है और विभिन्न बीमारियां, उपचारों और आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांत का विस्तृत विवरण ये प्रदान करता है। सुश्रुत संहिता, जिसका श्रेय ऋषि सुश्रुत को दिया जाता है, मोतियाबिंद सर्जरी, प्लास्टिक सर्जरी और औषधीय जड़ी बूटियों के उपयोग सहित सर्जिकल तकनीकों के व्यापक कवरेज के लिए यह आयुर्वेद प्रसिद्ध है। The scientific achievements of ancient India have profoundly influenced cultural practices and daily lives, reflecting a deep integration of science and tradition that is parampara. प्राचीन भारत की वैज्ञानिक उपलब्धियों ने सांस्कृतिक प्रथाओं और दैनिक जीवन को गहराई से प्रभावित किया, जो विज्ञान और परंपरा के गहरे एकीकरण को दर्शाता है। The precise astronomical calculations of ancient Indian astronomers are reflected in timings of various rituals and festivals. For instance, the Hindu festival of Diwali is celebrated based on lunar cycles, while Makar Sankranti marks the transition of sun into zodiac sign of Capricorn, signifying the arrival of longer days. भारतीय अगर ये अनुष्ठान और त्योहारों की बात करें तो प्राचीन भारतीय खगोलविदों की सटीक गोपनीय खगोलीय गणना विभिन्न अनुष्ठानों और त्योहारों के समय में परिलक्षित होती है। उदाहरण के लिए दिवाली का हिंदू त्योहार चंद्र चक्रों के आधार पर मनाया जाता है, जबकि मकर संक्रांति सूर्य के मकर राशि में संक्रमण का प्रतीक है, जो लंबे दिनों के आवागमन का भी प्रतीक है, जो हम जानते हैं। The mathematical concepts developed in ancient India have practical applications in various fields. The construction of temples and architectural marvels, such as Brihadeshwara Temple in Tamil Nadu, demonstrates the application of advanced geometry, that is Rekha Ganit, and engineering principles. The Sulabh Sutra, ancient text on geometry, provides guidelines for constructing altars and other religious structures with precise measurement. प्राचीन भारत में विकसित गणितीय अवधारणाओं के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में व्यवहारिक अनुप्रयोग हैं जो पाए जाते हैं। तमिलनाडु में बृहदेश्वर मंदिर जैसे मंदिरों और वास्तुशिल्प चमत्कारों का निर्माण उन्नत ज्योमेट्री यानी रेखा गणित और इंजीनियरिंग सिद्धांतों के अनुप्रयोग को प्रदर्शित करता है। सुलभ सूत्र ज्योमेट्री 3 ग्रंथ सटीक माप से 7 वेदियां और धार्मिक संरचनाओं के निर्माण के लिए दिशा निर्देश प्रदान करते हैं। Ayurveda's holistic approach to health and wellness has influenced Indian dietary habits, lifestyle practices, and healthcare. The use of natural herbs, yoga, and meditation as prescribed in Ayurvedic texts continue to be a significant part of Indian daily life. For example, the practice of consuming turmeric milk for anti-inflammatory property and performing yoga for physical and mental well-being are deeply rooted in Ayurvedic principles. स्वास्थ्य और कल्याण के प्रति आयुर्वेद की समग्र दृष्टिकोण ने भारतीय आहार की आदतों, जीवन शैली प्रथाओं और स्वास्थ्य देखभाल को प्रभावित किया है। आयुर्वेदिक ग्रंथों में निर्धारित प्राकृतिक जड़ी बूटियां, योग और ध्यान का उपयोग भारतीय दैनिक जीवन का महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा बना हुआ है। उदाहरण के लिए हल्दी दूध के सेवन से जो विरोधी भड़काऊ गुणों के लिए शारीरिक और मानसिक कल्याण के योग कर यानी जो हल्दी दूध का उपयोग है उसके सेवन से हम जो है हमारा इन्फ्लेमेटरी यानी जो इन्फ्लेमेशन होता है उसको कम किया जा सकता है। शारीरिक और मानसिक कल्याण के लिए योग करने का अभ्यास और आयुर्वेदिक सिद्धांतों में गहराइयों से निहित है। The integration of scientific knowledge into cultural practices has ensured the continuity and resilience of these traditions. The blending of astronomy with religious rituals, the application of mathematics in art and architecture, and the use of Ayurveda in daily life have created a rich tapestry of cultural practices that have endured through ages. सांस्कृतिक प्रथाओं में वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान के एकीकरण ने इन परंपराओं की निरंतरता और लचीलापन को निश्चित किया है। धार्मिक अनुष्ठानों के साथ साथ खगोल विज्ञान का सम्मिश्रण कला और वास्तुकला में गणित का अनुप्रयोग और वैदिक जीवन में आयुर्वेद के लिए के उपयोग के लिए सांस्कृतिक प्रथाओं में एक समुद्र, एक समृद्ध कह सकते हैं, ऐसी एक टैपेस्ट्री बनाई है जो सदियों से चली आ रही है। प्राचीन भारतीय वैज्ञानिक ग्रंथों ने भी पारंपरिक शिक्षा प्रणाली को आकार दिया है। गणित, खगोल विज्ञान और चिकित्सा जैसे विषयों का अध्ययन नालंदा और तक्षशिला जैसे प्राचीन भारतीय विश्वविद्यालयों में पाठ्यक्रम का एक अभिन्न अंग था। शिक्षा के लिए इस समग्र दृष्टिकोण जिसने वैज्ञानिक और दार्शनिक ज्ञान दोनों पर जोर दिया है, उसने भारत में आधुनिक शैक्षिक प्रथाओं को प्रभावित किया है। Ancient Indian scientific texts have also shaped the traditional education system. The study of subjects such as mathematics, astronomy, and medicine was an integral part of the curriculum in ancient Indian universities like Nalanda and Takshashila. The holistic approach to education, which emphasized both scientific and philosophical knowledge, has influenced modern educational practices in India. The scientific achievements of ancient India are not isolated historical milestones, but integral components of broader cultural and intellectual heritage. By advancing knowledge in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, ancient Indian scientists have significantly influenced cultural practices, daily life, and educational traditions, demonstrating the profound interplay between science and culture in Indian society. प्राचीन भारत की वैज्ञानिक उपलब्धियां अलग अलग ऐतिहासिक मील के पत्थर नहीं है, बल्कि व्यापक सांस्कृतिक और बौद्धिक विरासत के अभिन्न अंग है। खगोल विज्ञान, गणित और चिकित्सा में ज्ञान को आगे बढ़ाकर प्राचीन भारतीय वैज्ञानिकों ने सांस्कृतिक प्रथाओं, दैनिक जीवन और शैक्षिक परंपराओं को महत्वपूर्ण रूप से प्रभावित किया है, जो भारतीय समाज में विज्ञान और संस्कृति के बीच गहन परस्पर क्रिया को प्रदर्शित करते हैं। Friends, now again it's a time. I'll take you to, just let me take you, let me share my screen once again. As I do, let me share a few things with you again. So, as we have discussed this science, friends, I would like to take you to a very few minutes of a video to Brihadveshwara temple. It is a technological marvel of ancient India. I won't take you to the description of that.
Brihadishwara Temple, the technological marvel of ancient India. Welcome to Study IQ.
Technological marvel.
My name is Adesh Singh, and today we're going to talk about the Brihadishwara Temple, the oldest and grandest of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the Great Living Chola Temples.
इसको बनाने में
The Great Living Chola Temples
I will
are a
not
group
take you
of
to the history of it. मैं उसकी हिस्ट्री में आपको नहीं ले जाना
Great
चाहता,
Chola
लेकिन
Empire,
ये
established by
जो
Vijayalaya
बनाया गया,
around 80 AD.
जिस तरीके से इसको बनाया गया
After
है,
Vijayalaya,
ये
many rulers
एक
contributed to the
वैज्ञानिक
glorious
marvel,
Chola rule of
एक
450 years.
चमत्कार उससे कम नहीं है।
Under
I
the
would
leadership
suggest
of Rajaraja I
कि
and his
आप
son
लोग इसके बारे में थोड़ा ज्यादा पढ़ने
camel
की
culture
कोशिश
to
करें
Jains,
कि यहाँ
he
पर
decided to
क्या-क्या
build a
चीजें रखी
temple
गई हैं,
dedicated.
किस प्रकार से इसका निर्माण हुआ है और किस प्रकार से
Its construction demonstrates the
बहुत
complete
सारे टन
development of
वजन का
Dravidian
ये जो
architecture,
पत्थर है,
and over time,
it weighs lot of tons of weight, and how
can you imagine that a
they were
nearly
taken
16-story
to
tall
the
building
स्तंभ,
made
उसको
solely of
ऊपर
stone,
जो है
without any
कैसे ले
cement or
गया होगा,
adhesive,
कैसे
could
ले गए
stand
होंगे ये
proudly
लोग,
even after
ये एक
1,000
प्रश्न है।
years?
तो इन चीजों को I thought to show you. मुझे लगता है कि बृहदेश्वरा टेम्पल के बारे में आप लोगों को कुछ ज्यादा जानकारी लेने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए by yourself. I will not take you. देखिए कैसे किया गया होगा, ये एक explain कर रहे हैं
Inside the
कि
temple's
how
Sanctum
these
Sanctorum
people
or
would have
Sanctum
taken that.
Sanctorum, you
Elephants
won't
का
find
उपयोग
any.
करके या बहुत सारी और चीजों का उपयोग करके इतने भारी पत्थरों को
Let's now turn to the sculptures and inscriptions
and जो
within the temple.
sculptures हैं इनके वो बहुत ही प्रभावी हैं। तो
By
I
later
suggest
rulers.
you to have a look at them
It
at
is
your
believed that the sculpture of
convenience.
Nataraja,
I will
Shiva
not
as
show
the
you the
Lord.
whole video here, but now we will go towards Ayurveda. हम आगे की बात करेंगे, आयुर्वेद की बात करेंगे। आयुर्वेद एंड ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन की बात करते हैं। Principles and practices of Ayurveda. Integration of Ayurveda in cultural and health practices. इसकी बात करते हैं। It's very interesting. इसकी हम बात करने की कोशिश करते हैं। So, Ayurveda, meaning the science of life, is one of the world's oldest holistic healing systems, originating in India over 3,000 years ago. It is based on the belief that health and wellness depend on delicate balance between the mind, body, and spirit. The principles and practices of Ayurveda are documented in ancient texts such as Charak Samhita, Sushrut Samhita, and Ashtanga Hridaya. These are the texts which embody this. Ayurveda, जिसका अर्थ है जीवन का विज्ञान, दुनिया की सबसे पुरानी समग्र उपचार प्रणालियों में से एक है, वो है आयुर्वेद, जिसकी उत्पत्ति 3000 साल पहले भारत में हुई थी। यह इस विश्वास पर आधारित है कि स्वास्थ्य और कल्याण मानव मन, शरीर और आत्मा के बीच एक नाजुक संतुलन पर निर्भर करता है। आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांतों और प्रथाओं को चरक संहिता, सुश्रुत संहिता और अष्टांग हृदय जैसे प्राचीन ग्रंथों में प्रलेखित किया गया है। आयुर्वेद जिस चीज की बात करता है, दे आर दोष। Central to Ayurvedic philosophy is the concept of dosha, which are the three fundamental bodily humors that govern physiological and psychological functions. The three dosha are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each individual has unique combination of these three doshas, which determines their constitution, that is Prakriti and health tendencies. आयुर्वेद दर्शन के केंद्र में दोष की अवधारणा है, जो तीन मौलिक शारीरिक ह्यूमर है, जो शारीरिक और मनोवैज्ञानिक कार्यों को नियंत्रित करते हैं। ये तीन दोष में वात, पित्त और कफ, वायु और आकाश, अग्नि और जल, जल और पृथ्वी, इनकी बात है। ये प्रत्येक व्यक्ति में इन दोषों का एक अनूठा संयोजन होता है, जो उनके संविधान यानी प्रकृति और स्वास्थ्य प्रवृत्तियों को निर्धारित करता है। Ayurvedic diagnosis involves assessing the balance of dosha through various methods, including pulse diagnosis, nadi pariksha, observation, and patient history. Treatment aims to restore balance through a combination of dietary changes, herbal remedies, lifestyle modifications, and therapeutic procedures. Panchakarma, a series of detoxifying treatment, is one of the most well-known Ayurvedic practice designed to cleanse the body of toxins. आयुर्वेद में निदान में विभिन्न तरीकों के माध्यम से दोषों के संतुलन का आकलन करते हैं, जिसमें नाड़ी निदान यानी नाड़ी परीक्षण, अवलोकन और रोगी का इतिहास जानना ये चीजें शामिल हैं। उपचार का उद्देश्य आहार परिवर्तन, हर्बल उपचार और जीवन शैली में संशोधन और चिकित्सक प्रक्रियाओं के संयोजन के माध्यम से संतुलन बहाल करना होता है। संतुलन बहाल करना होता है। पंचकर्म एक विषहरण उपचारों की एक श्रृंखला है। विषाक्त जो पदार्थ होते हैं, उससे शरीर को साफ करने के लिए ये निर्माण की गई एक पद्धति है, जो बहुत ही प्रसिद्ध आयुर्वेदिक प्रथाओं में से एक है। As I told you, Ayurveda talks about Ayurveda, nutrition and diet. It places significant emphasis on diet and nutrition, advocating for food as medicine. It prescribes dietary guidelines based on an individual's dosha, season changes, and the principles of sattvic, that is pure food. For example, individuals with dominant vata dosha are advised to consume warm, moist, and grounding foods, while those with pitta dosha are recommended to eat cooling and hydrated food. आयुर्वेद आहार और पोषण पर महत्वपूर्ण जोर देता है। भोजन को दवा के रूप में लेना उसकी वकालत करता है। यह किसी व्यक्ति के दोष, मौसम परिवर्तन और सात्विक शुद्ध भोजन के सिद्धांत के आधार पर आहार संबंधी दिशा निर्देश निर्धारित करता है। उदाहरण के लिए, प्रमुख वात दोष वाले व्यक्तियों को गर्म, नम और ग्राउंडिंग खाद्य पदार्थों का सेवन करने की सलाह दी जाती है, जबकि पित्त संविधान वाले लोगों को ठंडा और हाइड्रेटिंग खाद्य पदार्थ खाने की सलाह दी जाती है। Ayurvedic practitioners use a vast array of herbs and medicinal plants to treat various ailments. Commonly used herbs include ashwagandha for stress and vitality, turmeric for anti-inflammatory properties, and triphala, a blend of 3 fruits, for digestive health. आयुर्वेदिक चिकित्सक विभिन्न बीमारियों के इलाज के लिए जड़ी बूटियां और औषधीय पौधों की एक विशाल श्रृंखला का उपयोग करते हैं। ये श्रृंखला आमतौर पर इस्तेमाल की जाने वाली जड़ी बूटियों से थोड़ी विपरीत और विभिन्न भी होती है। जैसे आमतौर से तनाव और जीवन शक्ति के लिए अश्वगंधा को लिया जाता है, और इन्फ्लेमेटरी गुणों के लिए और विरोधी या ऐसे गुण हो तो उसमें लिए हल्दी लिया जाता है। पाचन स्वास्थ्य के लिए त्रिफला का प्रयोग किया जाता है। वो 3 फलों का मिश्रण होता है। यानी इन चीजों का उपयोग करके आयुर्वेद हमें अच्छा जीवन देने की कोशिश करता है। Ayurveda is not merely a system of medicine, but a way of life that is deeply embedded in Indian culture and daily practices. Its integration into various aspects of life underscores its cultural and health significance. आयुर्वेद केवल चिकित्सा की एक प्रणाली नहीं है, बल्कि जीवन का एक तरीका है जो भारतीय संस्कृति और दैनिक प्रथाओं में गहराई से अंतर्निहित है। जीवन के विभिन्न पहलुओं में इसका एकीकरण इसके सांस्कृतिक और स्वास्थ्य महत्व को रेखांकित करता है। Ayurveda advocates for daily routines, that is dinacharya, that promote balance and health. These routines include practices such as oil pulling for oral health, self-massage with herbal oil to improve circulation, which is known as abhyanga, and gandusha, and specific dietary habits to maintain doshic balance. These practices are widely followed in Indian households, reflecting the cultural integration of Ayurvedic principles. आयुर्वेदिक दैनिक दिनचर्या की वकालत करता है, जो संतुलन और स्वास्थ्य को बढ़ावा देता है। इन दिनचर्या मौखिक स्वास्थ्य के लिए तेल खींचना गंडूशा, परिसंचरण में सुधार के लिए हर्बल तेलों के साथ मालिश करना यानी अभ्यंग, और दोषपूर्ण संतुलन बनाने के लिए एक विशिष्ट आहार संबंधित आदतों को शामिल करना, इन प्रथाओं का भारतीय घरों में व्यापक रूप से पालन किया जाता है, जो आयुर्वेदिक सिद्धांतों के सांस्कृतिक एकीकरण को दिखाता है। Ayurveda also prescribes seasonal regimes, ritucharya, to align the body's rhythm with the changing seasons. For example, during the hot summer months, individuals are advised to consume cooling foods like cucumber and coconut water to balance the pitta dosha. This seasonal practices help individuals adapt to environmental changes, promoting overall health and well-being. आयुर्वेद बदलते मौसम के साथ शरीर की लय को संरेखित करने के लिए मौसमी आहार यानी ऋतुचर्या भी निर्धारित करता है। उदाहरण के लिए गर्मी के महीनों में के दौरान व्यक्ति को पित्त दोष को संतुलित करने के लिए ककड़ी और नारियल पानी जैसे ठंडे खाद्य पदार्थों का सेवन करने की सलाह दी जाती है। ये मौसमी प्रथाएं व्यक्ति को पर्यावरणीय अनुकरण और परिवर्तनों के अनुकूलन होने में मदद करती हैं, समग्र स्वास्थ्य और कल्याण को बढ़ावा देने में भी उपयोगी रहती है। Many Indian festivals and rituals incorporate Ayurvedic principles. For instance, during the festival of Diwali, it is common to consume Ayurvedic sweets made with ingredients like sesame seeds and jaggery, which are believed to provide warmth and nourishment during the onset of winter. Similarly, during the monsoon season, practices such as consuming medicated ghee, clarified butter are followed to boost immunity. कई भारतीय त्योहार और अनुष्ठानों में आयुर्वेदिक सिद्धांतों को शामिल किया गया है। उदाहरण के लिए दिवाली के त्योहार के दरमियान तिल और गुड़ जैसी सामग्री से बनी आयुर्वेदिक मिठाइयों का सेवन करना एक आम बात है, जिसके बारे में माना जाता है कि सर्दियों की शुरुआत के दौरान गर्मी और पोषण प्रदान करने के लिए ये आयुर्वेदिक मिठाइयां जो गुड़ और तिल का उपयोग करती हैं वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रहती है। इसी तरह मानसून के मौसम और उसके दौरान प्रतिरक्षा को बढ़ावा देने के लिए औषधीय घी उसका सेवन करना इस जैसी प्रथाओं का पालन किया जाता है और ये बहुत आम बात है। Yoga and Ayurveda are often practiced together as complementary disciplines. While Ayurveda provides the framework for a balanced lifestyle and diet, yoga offers physical postures, that is asana, and breathing techniques, that is pranayama, to enhance physical and mental health. This synergy between yoga and Ayurveda is a testament to the holistic approach of Indian wellness traditions. ये योग और आयुर्वेद को अक्सर पूरक विषयों के रूप में एक साथ अभ्यास किया जाता है, जबकि आयुर्वेद एक संतुलित जीवन शैली और आहार के लिए रूपरेखा प्रदान करता है। योग शारीरिक और मानसिक स्वास्थ्य को बढ़ाने के लिए शारीरिक आसन और सांस लेने की तकनीक प्रदान करता है। योग और आयुर्वेद के बीच यह तालमेल भारतीय कल्याण परंपराओं के समग्र दृष्टिकोण का एक स्वयं प्रमाण है। Ayurveda continues to influence modern healthcare in India and globally. Ayurvedic clinics and wellness centers offer treatments that attract people seeking natural and holistic healing methods. The integration of Ayurvedic principles into modern healthcare practices, such as stress management and preventive health, highlights its enduring relevance. आयुर्वेद भारत और विश्व स्तर पर आधुनिक स्वास्थ्य सेवा को प्रसारित करना जारी रखता है। आयुर्वेदिक क्लिनिक और वेलनेस सेंटर ऐसे उपचार प्रदान करते हैं जो प्राकृतिक और समग्र उपचार विधियों की तलाश करने वाले लोगों को आकर्षित करते हैं। आधुनिक स्वास्थ्य देखभाल प्रथाओं में आयुर्वेदिक सिद्धांतों का एकीकरण, जैसे तनाव प्रबंधन और निवारक स्वास्थ्य, इसकी स्थायी प्रासंगिकता के ऊपर प्रकाश डालता है। Ayurveda is a comprehensive system of traditional medicine that emphasizes the balance between mind, body, and spirit. Its principles and practices are deeply integrated into Indian culture, influencing daily routines, seasonal regimes, festivals, and modern healthcare. By promoting a holistic approach to health and well-being, Ayurveda offers valuable insights and practices that continue to benefit individuals in contemporary society. Ayurveda पारंपरिक चिकित्सा की एक व्यापक प्रणाली है जो मन, शरीर और आत्मा के बीच संतुलन पर जोर देती है। इसके सिद्धांत और प्रथाएं भारतीय संस्कृति में गहराई से एकीकृत की गई है, जो दैनिक दिनचर्या, मौसमी आहार, त्योहारों और आधुनिक स्वास्थ्य देखभालों को प्रभावित करती हैं। स्वास्थ्य और कल्याण के लिए एक समग्र दृष्टिकोण को बढ़ावा देकर मूल्यवान अंतर्दृष्टि और प्रथाओं को प्रदान करता है। ये समकालीन समाज में व्यक्तियों को लाभान्वित करना जारी कर रहा है। So Friends, what I mean to say is that this kind of work which we see here in Indian knowledge system is very different than what we see in other traditions. If you look at various aspects of Indian knowledge system, they are too much varied. We have talked about Vedic literature and its cultural impact. We have talked about overview of four Veda, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. Then we took at 108 Upanishads. The Upanishads and philosophical foundations, they are the key concepts of understanding Indian knowledge system. Ancient Indian sciences and their cultural relevance is something which one should understand to see the greatness and achievements of India in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. The influences on cultural practices in daily life are too different. The principles of Ayurveda and practices of Ayurveda are globally accepted alternative medicines. The integration of Ayurveda in culture and health practices are accepted worldwide. We see the influences on the world. There are two prime things. One is Ayurveda and second is yoga and meditation. The cultural roots and modern relevance of yoga and meditation is very impressive. The development of yoga and meditation and its impact on physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is seen throughout the world. I guess with this, I should conclude my session. I'm leaving 5 minutes for the organizers for their feedback and the concluding of the session. With this, I would like to conclude. So thank you very much once again to Professor Mohammad Atiq ji and the co-organizers whosoever are with us here. इन सबका मैं तहे दिल से आभारी हूं कि मुझे आपके साथ आज इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के विषय पर बात करने के लिए एक प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड किया. So now it's time, if you want to comment on whatever I've said, it's open for all of you. I would be very happy if somebody is commenting on whatever I've said, or if you have to say anything, or otherwise I leave it to the organizers if you have anybody from MMTTC or from anybody from the co-organizer.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Joshi sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful and insightful session throughout this last three hours. We are really thankful to you, sir. Sir, some basic comments. Actually, it is a regular comment from the participants because one part in the society or one group in the society, they are always criticize this IKS, integration of IKS in our curricula and in our policy. So that question is always arising while we are conducting this IKS session. So the question I will put before you, that is in one hand, our Indian Constitution in the section 51 provide the scientific and rational thinking, whereas this IKS, integration of IKS, most of the things we are promoting in such a way that we doesn't have any kind of collaborative proofs of that. So in this way, whether we are going in a scientific way or the rational thinking way, or whether we have to promote some kind of andhashraddhas. So these questions is always arise, sir. So platform is yours, sir. You can please answer, sir.
It's a very good question. I guess this is very important to understand this. Basically, when we talk about Indian knowledge system, it's a knowledge system which was inherited in India. And there are many people who have published quite a lot in terms of research, in terms of books, in terms of reference material, and in terms of many documents which provide scientific base of the knowledge. So I would say that there are many things which are with the scientific base, as I have discussed 2-3 things, like I have discussed Ayurveda, I have discussed few things about yoga, I have discussed few things about the scientific inventions in old India. Now this all has very prolific scientific basis. So see, it is, I don't see it as we can say just popularizing some andhashraddha or like that, but it is taking people to their legacy. Actually, wherever English people or Britishers have ruled, they tried to deroot people. They tried to colonize people mentally. They tried to prove that whatever is English is great. But the countries where they ruled, they also have their great knowledge or treasures of knowledge. It is proven all over the world that people from all over the world used to come to Nalanda and Takshashila. The knowledge, resources, and reservoirs which were available in India, they were really commended, and I would say they were really very popular, and they were proven in its own way. So I, as a teacher, as a researcher, as professors, we should be balanced, and we should look at all the aspects. Actually, why IKS is included in these sessions, the very clear-cut answer is it is a part of national education policy, and this program is meant to popularize 8 different ideas on national education policy. The document, the ideas, the topics is well defined by University Grants Commission, and that's why we are discussing this. But at the same time, it opens eyes of many people who do not have much knowledge about this particular text, or maybe how or what India has contributed in terms of knowledge to the world. So I guess this is an eye opener to the people to read more about it and to learn more about it in detail. That's what I understand.
Sir, one more quote I will specifically mention here. In the period of pandemic, Corona pandemic, when the second wave was ongoing, and the Vidarbha is particularly the hotspot of the this second wave of this pandemic. In that period, you might be very well known that in the Jamnagar, government of India has established one dedicated Ayurvedic healing center with the help of WHO. So that time WHO team was visited to our Melghat region, sir, because this Melghat region is very enriched in this Ayurveda, and 67 species of this Ayurvedic plants were deputed from this Melghat to Jamnagar. So we are luckily fortunate we have such kind of aspirational block in our our Amravati University jurisdiction. And most of the peoples are working on that, sir. And recently we have launched one product that is Dharovar Se Unnati, that is the tribal development project, particularly submitted to the Maharashtra by the Amravati University, and we are targeting on some focus district. And this college, that is Jagdamba Institute of Technology, were located in the Yavatmal. Yavatmal is also the one of the focus district, and there we have also launched one project that is the Kumari Mata, because this Yavatmal has also the population of tribal peoples in their district, and this is also one of the focus district. So these are these are the steps that we are taking. But always what happen whenever we are talking about the IKS, one group is there is always criticize on that things, because British Education Act in 1835 that has been introduced by the Macaulay. Some of the group is there they are always thinking that this British Act is always superior. But I think we have the great Indian knowledge system, and we should contribute not only to our country but also the entire universe, because a number of things, whether we have no have documentation of that thing, but this historical evidences that shows that we have our great knowledge system, and on that our culture, our country is depending on, and we are growing on, sir. So participants, if you have any questions or the queries or some kind of observations with regards to this particular session, you can please note down here. Either we can conclude with the consent of Professor Joshi, sir. Please, anyone. No, I think, sir, all they have put up in the this chat box. So, sir, if you could permit.
Thank you very much.
Shall we conclude, sir?
Yes, you can, please.
Yeah. So on behalf of Malviya Mission Teacher Training Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, and Jagdamba College of Engineering and Technology, Yavatmal, I extend my sincere gratitude to Professor Jagdish sir for being with us, enlighten us, and gives us a new thought towards the adoption of this national education policy, and particularly the IKS. Sir, during your session, you have elaborated the various dimensions of this Indian knowledge system that should be integrated in our curricula. We are trying, sir, because most of the university has introduced one generic course, 2 credit course in their syllabi or the curricula.
Very true.
Now we are trying to introduce some domain specific IKS courses, and the government also pays the more emphasis on that. So definitely, sir, whatever may be the input you have given in this session, that will be inculcated in our future references or future academic curricula. So we are really thankful to you, sir. It will be very nice if this session will be in the offline mode. So we will interact in very well mode. So we are luckily thankful to you, sir, for your precious time and thought-provoking session here. And with the kind consent of Professor Joshi, sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, participants. And we will stop now here and meet tomorrow. Thank you. Hello, participants, are you with us? Hello? Can anybody reply? कोई रिप्लाई कर सकता है? हमारे साथ कितने लोग हैं?
Yes, sir.
I think hope you have enjoyed the session. आप लोगों ने सेशन आज का एंजॉय किया है. एक डीप कंसर्न ऐसा है कि अटेंडेंस जो है, अटेंडेंस और इंटरेक्शन ये होनी चाहिए. एज वी थिंक अटेंडेंस एंड इंटरेक्शंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज दिस सेशंस वी आर expecting that the participants should interact too. So please be make interaction and the attendance in the entire session from tomorrow. Today we will stop now here, and thank you everyone for your cooperation. Thank you.